Welcome to those of you that are watching this video on demand. We will be getting started shortly. And of course, as always, when I remember, I will place a link to in the description box to when this video actually starts. Okay, so we're gonna play a little music here and wait for a few more people to join the studio, and then we're gonna get we're gonna get. I was about to say we're gonna get hot because the block just got hot. All right, but we're watching. You're watching Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. Okay, and this is another special Monday night live edition of Maddie's Rap. Okay, it's been a long week, family, long weekend, and I know I owe y'all a live. Okay, I normally try to do this on the weekend, but y'all, it's been crazy since that last eclipse. Okay, that solar eclipse was a powerful one, and I'm hearing from a lot of the light workers that they've been experiencing some major ascension symptoms. When you know, you know. If you don't know about it, look it up. It's a very real thing. So we're gonna get started here in just a moment. You're watching Maddie's Rap with author and storyteller Matt D. Talford. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Now let's cue up some music here, y'all. Let's cue up some royalty-free music so we satisfy the YouTube royalty police. Okay. Let's bring some up here. We're getting started here in just a moment. Okay, we'll be getting started in just a moment. Let's see. How do we want to do this?
Try killing bugs the worry-free way, not the other way.
Gotta have that ad, right?
Evo traps use light.
What's going on, my connection? Don't start. Don't start now. Won't be none. All right.
They work continuously, so you don't have to. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
Hi, I'm Renaz, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strip.
I ain't gonna say nothing about that Chick-fil-A stuff. Y'all read them ingredients if you can find them. Okay, here we go. A little background music, y'all. We're getting started here in just a moment. Look like we got 3 people in. I'm gonna let about 1 minute of this play, 1 minute roll off, and then we getting started, okay? Because it's late, and I don't typically eat after sundown, but I didn't eat today. Well, did I eat today? Actually, yeah, I had a. It don't matter. I'm hungry, all right? And I got a nice piece of Atlantic salmon and not Atlantic. I don't eat it. Pacific sockeye salmon, Alaskan salmon, okay? Y'all, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, but we're going to get started here. And I promise you, we got a great show for y'all tonight. We got a great show. So y'all stick around. Anybody who's aware of what's happening in the world already knows what happened this past weekend in the land of Israel, all right? The block is getting hot, y'all. The block is getting hot. Stay tuned. Keep your eyes open, all right? Keep your eyes open. Stay prayed up and stay high vibrational, all right? We're going to be getting started in about 1 more minute, okay? Y'all rock out with me for a minute. Hope everybody's doing well out there tonight. For those of you that are watching on demand, thank you. If you're new to my channel, again, welcome. And if you're returning, y'all already know how I feel about you. Welcome back, baby. We're going to be getting started here in just a moment. Sipping a little green tea with honey, a little lemon juice, and we're going to get started, all right? Y'all come on in. Come on in, y'all. Now I'm going to step away for just a moment and turn the air on because it's a little warmer here. Y'all hang with me just a minute. All right, family, we're back. We're going to turn the music down and we're going to get started. Thank y'all for waiting. Thank you for your patience. We're about to get started here. Just wanted to grab a towel because this light is hot in this studio for some reason. Home studio, home office, call it what you like. Well, let's turn it on down here. Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. Let me put my phone on do not disturb because I got a few people blowing me up here and I need to not be disturbed here. So give me just a moment. All right, do not disturb. Let's turn the music back up while I'm setting this. Do not disturb. There we go. Got it. All right. All right, y'all. Let's turn this music off and get this party started. Because y'all know how I do it. Y'all already know how I do it, okay? Let's get it started. All right, first of all, we got 5 people in the room. First of all, how y'all doing out there tonight? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are chipper. Hope everybody's had, put the kiddies to bed if you got children. And we're gonna get started. Got a hot program for y'all tonight. Who saw what happened this weekend? Okay. Who saw what happened this weekend? If you see it, if you saw it, throw it in the chat. And by the way, if you're in here and you rock with me, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. Give me a like. It's going to help the algorithm. It's going to let more people know that we're on live and going live. That we're online and going live. All right, so I promise y'all I'm going to get this together in just a moment. All right. So what are we talking about? We are talking about what is happening in the world, what is particularly happening in the Middle East. We're aligning this up with a lot of what I talked about in December, my December 2023 video, where I was telling you guys what I expected to happen here in 2024. All of these predictions, if you will, which is not really a prediction. You're just reading the weather of the cosmos. Okay, the weather of the cosmos. Y'all hear me say this a lot on this channel. For the first year or two that I started covering topics that are more spiritual than religious in nature, I had a lot of the religious establishment coming at me in the comments, the bots, whatever. Hey, bro, I like what you're doing, but leave that astrology alone, whatever. They don't understand that it's the same thing as meteorology on the ground, okay? When you want to plan a trip, when you want to plan something around the house, you want to go jogging outside the next morning, what do? You check the forecast. You want to know if it's going to be raining, right? You're taking a long road trip. Let's say you're driving from Florida to Ohio in December. You want to know if you're going to run into a snowstorm, right? Because that might make you change your travel plans. The cosmos is the same way. It's the same way. What is the energy of the cosmos? What is the energy of these planetary transits? How are they working together? And how is that affecting life on Earth? That's all that is. So those predictions that I made for 2024 back in 2023 were simply based in understanding the numerology of the year 2024 and understanding the astrological transits, the energy. That's it. So this is why it has been accurate. This is why these predictions I made have been accurate, okay? War. Why did you say war, Matthew? Well, because the North Node entered the sign of Aries, which is the sign of war. What's up, Hotshot? Glad to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining. Aries is the sign of war. Aries is on one side, war, peace and harmony, Libra on the other side, okay? So the North Node entered Aries in July, so I already knew what was going to come. The North Node stays in a sign for 18 months, okay? And speaking of that, let me explain something else, y'all. When you understand what these different astrological signs, what the energy of these signs are, it can help you better understand not just people, but the energy that's hitting the earth. I'll give you a case in point. I believe her name is Lisa Cabrera. I was watching one of her videos this morning. Shout out to Lisa Cabrera if you're watching this. And I was watching her commentary on Putin and why she felt like he released this information about the ethnicity of these biblical patriarchs and the Messiah himself, the timing of it. I gave you guys my spin on it, but I always like to hear what other people are saying as well. I listened to hers this morning, and she was just talking about some different things and talking about astrology as well. Now, one thing that her commentary made me do was because she mentioned Putin and some of the things he's done over the past few years. So I thought about it for a minute. I said, wait a minute, North Node. Now, she didn't mention the North Node, But I remember talking about why we were going to be at war in a lot of different places this year. Why? Because the North Node stays in a sign for 18 months and the North Node entered Aries in July. It's going to be there until January of next year. So I went and I said, wait a minute, because we got a major astrological alignment that is happening. I love the way that thumbs up happens on Apple now. When you hold your thumb up, it pops a thumb up in there. What's up, 3X Dope? He said, wow, I just found out about her today. Yeah, Lisa Cabrera, her channel is real. She plays no games. She does not play with people coming in the comments talking reckless. She will have her moderators block or silence people in a heartbeat. She plays zero games. I love that energy. I love that energy, especially coming from my sisters when they're knowledgeable, but they play no games. They take no ish. Okay, I love that. Anyway, so I went and looked up the North Node. I said, okay, we're talking about Putin, and she mentioned the Ukraine war. I said, wait a minute, what was the North Node in when he went into Crimea in 2022? And I thought about it. I said, it had to be in Taurus because the nodes move the opposite direction through the astrological wheel. So I was like, I bet it was in Taurus. Looked it up. Sure enough, it was in Taurus. But he waited until the North Node changed from Gemini, which is about communication, until it went into Taurus, which is about possession, acquisition, wealth, abundance, material gains, that sort of thing, land. All of that is the energy of Taurus. Money, finance, all of that is Taurus energy. So interestingly enough, he waited until the node left Gemini, which is about communication. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you, he says, you know what? Ain't no time for talking. Time for talking is over with. I tried talking. Talking doesn't work. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to take this land. But I got to wait until the energy of the cosmos matches what it is I'm trying to do so that I can maximize that energy. This is how this stuff works, y'all. So these different religious leaders around the world tell you, oh, leave astrology alone. It's demonic somehow, or it's the devil somehow. And yet they use it to plan their actions around. So when you're planning life on earth, per se, like, personal day-to-day stuff with regards to travel or things that you want to do outside of your house, or even things that you want to do inside of your house. Like if you live in Florida, you better look at that forecast to see if there's a hurricane coming. If you live in the Midwest, you better look at that forecast to see if there's a tornado coming. Why? Because you can plan for it. You can go to your tornado shelter. And if you're in the Midwest, if you're in Florida or someplace on the East Coast, and that forecast tells you that hurricane's going to hit near where you are, you're evacuating. You're boarding up your windows if you own a business. The cosmos is the same way. These world leaders, they wait for the North Node, which is the node of destiny for the planet, to enter certain signs before they do certain things. Who we're going to be talking about tonight, the title, Israel. When do you think Israel declared a state? They declared their statehood in May of 1948. Guess what sign the North Node was in May of 1948? It was in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is about acquisition. If you want to do a land grab, do it when the North Node is in Taurus. Now, guess what? They doubled down on the energy because they did it not only when the North Node entered Taurus, they doubled down by doing it during Taurus season. This is how this stuff works. So now let's get on to tonight's topic. Israel versus Iran. The block just got hot in the Middle East. Now I'm gonna start by showing y'all something that is very interesting, because I was supposed to pull up a video, y'all, for this. Let me do this real quick because I got a video I want to show y'all on this on what it looked like, and I'm gonna show y'all something that's gonna blow your mind. Okay, let's see. Video of Iron Dome versus Iran strikes. Let's try that. Okay. Do I want to use this Wall Street Journal timeline, or do explosion seen over? Let me see. I want to skip through. I don't want a long video here. Let me find a short one. This is one. This is good right here. I'm gonna bring this one up for y'all. Okay, I got an ad. Of course, YouTube gonna show y'all that ad. Y'all gotta watch that ad if you're gonna watch YouTube. Just comes with it. All right. So y'all check this out right here. Let me bring it up on the screen for y'all. First video of the night. I got about 7 to 8 videos I'm gonna show y'all. Shalom, Latasha Smith. How you doing tonight? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. All right, y'all. We're gonna learn something tonight. First one. If y'all, now I'm probably telling my age with this, but there was an Atari 2600 game that dropped in the 1980s. I think it came out around 1981. So if you're old enough to remember that Atari 2600 was like one of the first video game consoles. It was black with a little wood grain finish in the front, and you had to pop that cartridge in there. Y'all remember them cartridges used to get janky. You pull it out, tap on it, blow it out, put it back in there, whatever. And you had that one joystick with that little red button up in the corner. All right. Those of you that know, you know, Atari 2600. I think they made a little comeback and people were buying them for collector's items. But there was a game called Missile Command. But y'all watch this because it's going to blow your mind. People talk about predictive programming, and it's like, you know, there's different theories out there where they're like, did people come back from the future to do some of this stuff to show us what it's going to look like? Check this out, y'all. Check this out. First video of the night. And I got about 5 or 6 of them for you. Latasha, she said she remembers. She remembers the Atari 2600. Yo, throw a thumbs up. Throw a thumbs up in the chat if you remember Atari 2600. Or just hit a like on the video. I know some people like to watch in private. They don't necessarily want their, you know, their avatar showing up in the chat. I respect that. I respect that. But give me a like. Give me a like, okay? If you like me, you like Matt, give me a like, okay? Now, let me show y'all this video. First one of the night. All right, let me make sure I'm on the screen because y'all know how I do it sometimes. Here we go.
Thank you. Yes, I can.
This is from YouTube channel 11 Alive. I'm watching this under fair use for commentary and critical review purposes. All right. Now, here comes number 2. Here comes number 2. Oh, I hope y'all didn't hear that. I didn't get to that mute button in time. I hope y'all didn't hear that, okay? Little burpy burp. Y'all know how we do. We human over here. No robots. Here we go. All right. Let me share. Thank y'all for being here tonight, by the way. It's always a pleasure spending my evenings with you guys, man. Y'all make it rich. Y'all make it rich. I love hanging out with y'all. Here we go. All right, level complete. Level complete. It's going to get a little bit tougher. Level complete. Y'all, who knew that we were looking at the Iron Dome back then? Who knew? Let's speed it up a little bit. Let's speed it up. right, so y'all get the idea. Y'all get the idea. I don't know about y'all, but I tore a lot of controllers up playing that game. I tore a lot of controllers up playing that game. Me and my brothers, and y'all know how it was back in the day. Your mom and dad be like, look, y'all break another controller, you ain't getting another one. You know, you'd be like, man, these controllers cheap. What do you do? What do you do? Anyway, JoJo said, sorry I'm late for class. Had to celebrate my son's excellence in school. Always. Hey, that's a great reason to be late. That's a great reason not to be here. So, hey, listen. Congrats to your son. Congrats. I love that. I love to hear that. So now I wanted to share that with y'all because who knew back then that we were looking at the Iron Dome? That was the Iron Dome in a video game. Who knew? Mind blowing, right? Mind blowing. So y'all pretty much know what happened. If y'all been watching the news at all or watching social media or even watching YouTube, I get a lot of my news from YouTube that you know what happened. Iran versus Israel, and Iran, y'all know what happened. They retaliated retaliated against Israel hitting their consulate in another country. I don't know if y'all know how this stuff works with embassies and such, but an embassy on anybody's soil is considered to be that country's sovereign soil. So if you hit that embassy or that consulate, that is seen as hitting that country. It's the same thing. Doesn't matter where that embassy or that consulate is. When it's open and active and in operation, when you hit that consulate or that embassy, you have just hit that country. Doesn't matter where it's located. So that's kind of how that works. Iran retaliated. Now, here's what I found interesting. Iran, and I watched a bunch of different narratives on it, and I'm going to show some of those videos on the screen. But Iran went to the UN and said, look, we got violated. We had international law broken. This country, whom we are not at war with, hit our consulate. What are y'all going to do? International community was like, well, y'all Iran, man. I mean, that's what y'all get for being Iran. So Iran said, oh, that's what we doing? All right. Hold this. All right. So let me show you what is going on out there, because there's a bunch of different narratives happening right now. I'm gonna show y'all a video from a guy named Eric Stackleback. He runs a channel called The Watchman Reports. He's an affiliate of CBN. I don't really watch CBN. I never was a big fan of CBN. I always kind of saw them as ultra conservative, Christian, right wing, white supremacists. Dare I say it? I mean, that's a lot of that going on in the Christian community, especially the ultra conservative. But that is what it is. That's my opinion. Everybody got their own opinions on it. Okay, that's just me. So I don't really deal with CBN like that. But sometimes his channels show up in my feed on YouTube, and I'll watch it if the title seems interesting enough, because I want to hear. Listen, I'm somebody that likes to stay in the middle. I don't really ride this way for that person, that way for that person. I'm my own man. So I like to, and I'm a Libra rising. Y'all hear me talk about that all the time. That energy of Libra is all about balance. So let me hear both sides of it and make my own determination. That's how I am. That's kind of why I had a problem with a lot of the stuff that was happening in 2020. If y'all remember back then, one side was getting to tell their story. When people came with a counter argument with regards to those medications, I'll say it like that, they were hushed. They were hushed. They were censored. They were silenced. They had videos removed, channels removed, all of that. I'm like, okay, so why y'all going so hard not to? I like to hear both sides. I don't care whether I agree or disagree, whatever. Let me hear both sides, because typically what happens is the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Okay, so Eric Stackleback, I'm going to show you a few minutes of his video, and then there's a guy. There's a channel named Dialogue Works. I love that guy's channel. I just started watching him a few days ago as I was getting the news of what happened. And I like his presentation because he brings in experts that are not associated, if you will, with any political party per se. And they don't really have a dog in the fight. They are giving their own opinion, free of any type of influence of, money or whatever. So I kind of like the way that this guy does his channel over there on Dialogue Works. So y'all check that out. I wrote the names of these channels in the description box. I have not yet put a link in there. I'll probably put links to those channels by the time this video is over, but y'all check them out. I'm going to show you portions of these videos. You will not see the whole thing. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I want y'all to go check the whole video out if you want. But what I'm going to be showing you now is I'm going to show you what the military expert. We're going to show you Eric's first, because Eric is not a military guy. He's an analyst, if you will, a commentator, a Christian commentator. A lot of his stuff is based in what he sees as his, interpretation of the scripture, which is night and day different from my interpretation. But that's a story for another day. Y'all know I've been telling y'all for the last couple of years on this channel, if you're a pastor, if you consider yourself Christian, which I no longer consider myself religious, I got a lot of friends who are in the 3 Abrahamic religions. Okay, I got friends who practice Judaism. I got friends who practice Christianity, and I got friends who practice Islam. I can meet a man. I can find some common ground with a man anytime, because you know what? When you strip away the religions, we all have pretty much the same issues. Okay, I found that out as a young 19-year-old soldier serving in the Persian Gulf. Okay, many years ago when I was in the Army, young 19-year-old soldier getting to talk to some of these other soldiers from these other countries, and the ones who could speak English. You talk to them and you find out they pretty much got the same stuff going on back at home that we do. They got kids. Their kids, play sports or whatever. They got wives. They love their wives. 1 minute, the next minute they get on their nerves. I mean, these real conversations with real dudes, all right? And they want to go back home to their family after they're done with their tour duty. They want to eat dinner. Hey man, my wife makes a great blah 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 blah. Real people, man. Real people. They just from a different country, a different culture, if you will, but the human experience is the same throughout. So listen, I don't care what somebody says. What's up, Lady Dagger Status? Glad to have you here. Amita Saladin, listening to different narratives is extremely important for critical thinking. Absolutely. So the point I'm making is, y'all, listen, you can find common ground with anybody on any platform, regardless. So what, this guy over here is a Christian, this guy's a Muslim. Hey, you know what? Let's put our religious differences aside and let's find out what we got common ground. I guarantee you're probably going to find out that you like more people than you were told not to like, okay? And who's telling you not to like them anyway? And for what reason? Anyway, so that was that. I wanted to put that out there, y'all. Again, I probably disagree with Eric's spin on stuff more than I agree. But you know what? I don't have nothing against Eric individually. We're both from the same region of the country, both from the Northeast originally. And if I ever sat down with Eric and we talked about something outside of religion, we probably would see eye to eye on sports or something like that. This is what we got to start doing. We got to start putting the differences aside that we're told to have with each other. Who's telling you to have these differences? All right, let's get on to it. So I'm gonna show you Eric Stacklebeck, and I'm gonna show you again, he's a civilian, but Matt is a veteran. So I like to hear what the military experts are saying about what's going on, and then you can kind of find out who's telling you something that's closer to the truth versus who's in their feelings and being a fanboy. Okay, we know it's a lot of fanboyism going on out there and has been for a very long time. And then the other thing I'm going to show y'all, and I should probably show you this now. Let me look at my notes. Okay, I won't forget it. I got it in my notes. I want to show y'all some very interesting numerology with regards to what is happening right now in Israel/Palestine. Okay, Joe, Lady Dag says, "Oh, I'm just seeing both happy." Yep. Might be going to SC, waiting on LSU to confirm. Okay, cool. So let me get on to this. Let's check out this Eric Stacklebeck video first. Let's go there, okay? I already got it queued up. And again, these videos are being shown for critical review purposes under fair use. That's all we're doing. We don't own any of this content, and we appreciate the content creators that have put this rich content out there for us to watch and, opine over, okay? So let's get it up. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I know y'all could be any place else in the world doing any other thing, and y'all are spending a little bit of y'all time with Matt D. Talford. I do not take that lightly. I appreciate each and every one of you in the chat. And if you're just coming in, do me a favor and hit that like button, okay? So we let more people know we're live here. All right, this is Eric Stacklebeck. We're going to watch from right at around the 16. Let me go back a little bit. Right from 1655 to about 2108. So we're going to watch about maybe 5 minutes, maybe 4.5 minutes of this. Here we go.
I believe that Israeli response is coming. Let's get to it in a minute. But real quick, I do want to read that tweet. I'm going to talk about Russia, too, and some moves that are troubling, but in the region. But in Hebrew. Talk about a mocking act by the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei. In Hebrew, he tweeted, and how does he have a Twitter account or an X account? That's very interesting. So many accounts have been banned, and Elon Musk has cleaned things up a bunch on X, but Ayatollah Khamenei still has one. That's interesting. And he had one. He's had one throughout. I don't believe his account has ever been suspended, but I digress.
Now, okay, that's my first problem, y'all. Why can't this man? So he doesn't get to have an opinion because he's from another country that is not that. Let me say this too, real quick, y'all. He doesn't. So this is one of the problems I have with a lot of our fellow countrymen here in these United States. It's like when you're drinking the Kool-Aid, a man is not allowed to have an opinion on these public social media platforms if they disagree with you or what you're talking about. Like, okay, so your voice doesn't get to be heard because you're from somewhere else where, and a lot of that stuff, y'all, again, it has to do with governments. And I learned this being a soldier deployed overseas. The foot soldier level, man, I don't know you. You don't know me, man. We might be cool. But you know what? Somebody attached to your government and somebody attached to his government said you and me got to be fighting with each other. And we ain't even got no beef. I don't even know you, dude. I don't know you. You don't know me. But, you know, we got the scope pointing at each other because this dude over here don't like this dude over here. And it's usually got something to do with that Taurus energy. I want something you got. I don't want you to have it. I want you to get out of my spot. Nah, I want what you got. And that usually ain't government. That's usually the government who was elected by somebody that got the money to put this dude in office so he gets to hide his face and let him do the bidding. I'm going to call it what it is, y'all. I'm going to call it what it is. This is, you know, what Pluto's on a wobble right now. It's wobbling back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of structure, government, that kind of stuff. Aquarius is the sign of rebellion, freedom, whatever. It's wobbling back and forth. But when it's done with its wobble on November 19th of this year, it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be sitting in Aquarius for a long time. So these governments looking real shaky right now. So just call it what it is, y'all. Just call a spade a spade. Why we still got freedom of speech in this country. So-called freedom of speech. Back to the video. So, Eric, I'm going to have to give you X on that. I like you, Eric, but why this man can't have a Twitter account? So you're going to shut him down because you don't agree with what he's saying. But hypothetically, if the U.S. and Iran sit down at the table of brotherly love tomorrow and say, you know what, man, let's squash all of this. Then, you know what? We love Khomeini, man. He made up with our friends. Since you made up with my friend, I'm your friend now. Get out of here with that, man. Y'all cut it out. Everybody has a voice. Let me read some comments real quick. Congrats. Oh, okay. All right. So that's for somebody else in the chat. I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all so much. Let's get back to the video. And I'm going to try to let this play now without stopping. Just wanted to add that. Eric, I'm going to have to give you a strike on that one, bro.
He writes, Al-Quds will be in the hands of the Muslims. Al-Quds, another name for Jerusalem. The tweet was accompanied by footage of Iranian missiles being blown up by Israeli defense systems over the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. So he said, look, holy Al-Quds will be in the hands of the Muslims, and the Muslim world will celebrate the liberation of Palestine.
What if you could get rid of long tent setup forever?
Setting up tents should be instant.
And he wrote it in Hebrew. And again, you see how Jerusalem is used as a cudgel by the enemies of Israel. It's a way to rally the Muslim world. Al-Quds is our rallying cry. It's the reason why Hamas launched a war against Israel in May 2021. It was a major reason for October 7th, or at least Hamas painted it as such. It's all about Jerusalem for them. And Khamenei tweets out the images that I talked about of missiles above the Temple Mount. Iranian missiles above the Temple Mount. You just heard it. And you just saw it. Khamenei proudly tweeted that out because, again, folks, yes, those missiles were shot down. Yes. And yes, 99% of those projectiles were shot down writ large on Saturday night. But still, the Iranian regime sees it as a victory. The mere propaganda value for him of Iranian missiles above the Temple Mount the mere propaganda value of the people of Israel waiting with dread for 48 hours, the Iranian response over the weekend, and then the drones took several hours to arrive on Saturday night, the cruise missiles as well. Ballistic missiles travel much more quickly. This is all psychological terror and psychological warfare. So Iran sees that as a victory. But again, Israel can turn that all on its head, folks, with a forceful response. Now, you might say, oh, no, don't do that. Like the Biden administration is saying, like European leaders are saying, don't do that because it's going to spark a wider regional war. And I said earlier, and I didn't finish the thought, I'll finish it now. If Israel does not respond, it will certainly spark a wider regional war sooner rather than later. Because Iran will be emboldened and they will try this again. And there's no guarantee that Israel will have the kind of great success, miraculous success that it had on Saturday night. Guaranteed 110%, no doubt, Iran will do this again if Israel does not respond forcefully. That's coming. Folks, the lessons of October 7th. I said on Stackleback tonight, again, you can watch it tonight, that the Middle East will never be the same after April 13th. That was Saturday night, April 13th, 2024. Either an emboldened Iran will now be on the war path and targeting Israel directly on a regular basis, or Israel is going to change the entire paradigm in the region and strike Iran so hard that Iran will never even dream or think twice about hitting Israel directly ever again.
All right, that's that one. Now I'm gonna show you a contrasting opinion. Okay, civilian. I'm gonna show you a contrasting opinion from a military man, and then I'm gonna show you what Matt saw. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna put it together for y'all after these 4 videos, because I think this goes back. I think the very thing that happened on the night of April the 13th, heading into the early morning of April the 14th, in the land of Israel, goes back to October. Goes back to October, and this whole thing that started with Hamas some months ago. Okay, I'm gonna show you how I think it's connected. But let's keep going. So that was Eric Stackleback. Now I'm gonna show you guys a guy by the name of Larry. So one of these guys is an ex 3-letter gang analyst. Okay, and then the other one is an ex-military, ex-army colonel, and the other one is a former Marine. All right, so let's get Eric off of here. And that was Watchmen Reports. You guys can check him out on YouTube. He's got some interesting dialogue, but again, it's got that CBN slant for me. And to me, CBN is kind of the and keep in mind, again, I don't take sides. I don't watch. I could care less for CNN. I could care less for Fox News. I just wanted to give y'all the two contrasts. I could care less. If somebody sends me a video or an article from either of them, I'll read them, but they tend to be slanted to a certain, demographic. CNN tends to be slanted to the liberal demographic, and Fox tends to be slanted to the conservative demographic. Eric, to me, or I should say, CBN is kind of the Fox of the Christian whatever. It's very heavily, pro-Israel and pro-ultra conservative, and I don't even get into the politics, y'all, because I don't even do politics anymore. Some of my boys are mad at me. They're like, man, what you mean you don't go to the polls no more? Listen, man, what difference does it make for the working man at the end of the day? But you do you, but don't criticize me for doing me. That's just me. All right. I used to play that game, and after a while, you look at it and you're like, you know what, man, it don't matter who's in office. It's still gonna be. It's just a different flavor of the same. I mean, pizzas. But yeah, you know what? Let's call it ice cream. Let's call it ice cream. Ice cream is ice cream. Do you want vanilla, or do you want strawberry, or you want banana? You want chocolate? Whatever. It don't matter. It's still ice cream. Vanilla ice cream is better. No, it isn't. Doesn't have any flavor. Chocolate ice cream is better. Yeah, but it does not better unless you crack up some Oreos in it and some put some nuts or something in it. Whatever. And this dude over here, he don't even eat ice cream. He's like, well, the dairy's bad for you. All right, let's watch another video, y'all. Let's go to Let's go to Larry, because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what Eric kind of doesn't know what he's talking about. He's Eric's narrative is that, you know, if Israel retaliates, he's saying that some people are saying that if Israel retaliates, it's going to create a wider spread conflict. So they shouldn't. And then he's saying, well, they should, because if they don't, it's going to create a wider spread conflict. I'm here to tell you that with the energy of the North Node, and with, y'all know what goes around comes around. This is a Saturnian year, and y'all know that the scripture says the Most High is slow to anger. He's slow to anger. So to be honest with you, this thing that is boiling over there now, that pot got turned on back in 70 AD. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. That pot was turned on in 70 AD, and it's been slowly building up to a boil. And this is a long-standing continuation of something that began with the Roman incursion into, and I shouldn't even call it a Roman incursion, because if you read the books of the Maccabees, you know they were invited in there. That's a story for another day. I'll leave that. Let's get to this video. We're gonna talk about Larry Johnson here. Let's go to Larry. I like Larry. We're gonna talk about Larry here. Hang on. Yo, shout out to Nima Al-Rashid, man. This is I love his channel. His channel's name is Dialogue Works. Okay, check him out. We're gonna watch from about 2:30, where it is right now, to about 8:23. So we're gonna watch about 7 minutes of this video.
Do that, and they did it. And first of all, how Iran started attacking Israel? How did you find this type of attack?
Well, what's interesting about it is by Friday, after we talked, this really heated up dramatically in terms of all these different countries pulling out of Iran, pulling out of Israel, and then Turkey and a couple of other countries in the Middle East announcing they wouldn't allow Israel or the United States to overfly their territory if they're planning on attacking Iran. Then, it became clear to me that Iran, at a minimum, was telling other countries, and there's been reports now to that effect, informing Turkey, hey, we're gonna hit Israel. Just be aware, be prepared, and we're only going to hit military targets. They may have even informed the United States, without giving away precisely where they were going to hit. But what they did was a demonstration of power. They were not delivering a full punch. Instead, they were.
FYI, I just sped it up to about 1.25 speed. So just wanted you, anybody that picked up the speed and tempo, I just sped it up so we can get through it a little faster.
They're like walking up and smacking somebody upside of the head. Somebody who's standing there saying, okay, I'm a good boxer. You can't hit me. And Iran walked up and went, whack, hit him. And I think it surprised Israel, because what Iran demonstrated was a new kind of strategy that we saw a parallel of it, sort of similar during World War II in the Battle of Midway. Because during the Battle of Midway, you had the Japanese aircraft carriers, and their fighter aircraft took off, went up into the sky, and started shooting down all of these dive bombers. But as they shot them down, the Japanese air cover got lower and lower and lower and lower. And so finally, they were trying to figure out whether to rearm long-range bombers or whatever, when the next wave of American attackers showed up. Now, that was unplanned, but the Japanese couldn't get up to meet them, and so the attackers then ended up destroying 4 aircraft carriers. Well, in this situation, the Iranians launched some drones, more than 100 drones, 150. And then they would launch cruise missiles. Now, the cruise missiles travel faster than the drones. So you can add, subtract, divide, and you can calculate time that, if a drone's traveling at 150 miles an hour and a cruise missile travels at 400 miles an hour and a ballistic missile travels at 900 miles an hour, when do you need to fire the drones, the cruise missiles, and the ballistic missiles so they all arrive at the same time or within minutes of each other? Holy smokes, that's a swarm. And what that did to Israel is, so each Patriot, each of their Iron Dome has 3 to 4 launchers. So each launcher can fire up to 20 missiles. Well, right away, you're assuming that maybe you want to target at least 2 missiles per incoming target. So if you got 100, 150 drones coming in, that means you're firing 300 missiles, and those things are expensive, at least $100,000 a piece. All of a sudden, they estimate Israel in launching counterstrikes against Iran may have spent over $1.3 billion, money that it just doesn't have. This attack by Iran was smart, very smart. Because one, they made sure they hit military targets primarily, and they hit a air base in the Negev Desert and another military installation up north towards Lebanon and Syria, the Golan Heights.
Okay, I want to pause it there for a moment. Eric didn't mention that. What you heard Eric mention was that Israel shot down 99.9% of the incoming ordnance. Okay, here is an analyst, a CIA analyst, telling you, hey, you know what? They only went after military targets. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. And they did get through based on what he's saying.
They were not killing civilians. They left the cities of Tel Aviv and Jaffa and Haifa and Jerusalem untouched. So they were sending a message to Israel because they showed Israel that we can overwhelm your air defenses with just a small fraction of what we're launching. And my understanding is the ballistic missiles they launched were their older style. They didn't go with their latest, greatest, most technologically advanced stuff. They shut off some old stuff, but it penetrated. And I think the goal was to make Israel now think twice. Say, okay, you have been Israel. You've been poking us, Iran, in the chest for over 14 years. You've been assassinating our scientists. You've been backing terrorist attacks inside Iran. You've been assassinating the Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders. So now we're telling you stop. And they did so by hitting these targets. And carried with it the reminder that if you do this, if you retaliate, we're going to hit you harder. Now,
all right, that's about all I'm going to play of that one. But so there, you got a contrasting opinion, one from an expert, one from somebody that is, you know, he's pro-Israel, but he doesn't kind of know how these things work. Okay. I'm gonna play 2 more videos, and then actually, you know what? I want to pause here and let me pause here and talk about that, because I said that this goes back to October. Now, if you know what happened early on in this conflict between Israel and Hamas, one of the things we noticed is that Hamas, and I think Hezbollah too, to a degree, they were throwing some stuff in there too, but they fired so many rockets at Israel that they darn near depleted their Iron Dome missile defense system. So they ran out of ordnance. And if you remember the news reports from back then and earlier in the year, they were like, hey, America, yeah, we need y'all to produce some more. We need some more missiles for our Iron Dome. Israel doesn't produce their own ordnance. They get their military ordnance from the United States. They buy their stuff from the US. Now, I got a whole understanding on what this looks like historically speaking, because if you look at the ancient Roman Empire, you're seeing a lot of parallels between ancient Rome, who was the military juggernaut of their time, and what happened as they continued to get so big and continue to expand and get so expansive that they began to thin out their ranks and severely slow down their ability to replenish their soldiers, their weapons, food, all of the stuff that you need for a military to be effective when it's deployed. A lot of parallels right now, a lot of parallels. And if you ask me, again, I've said this in other videos, a lot of these Western nations, to me, are the revived Roman Empire. Similar structure with their governments, similar way that the countries are run. It's almost like Rome 2.0. Okay, there you go. There you go, 3X dope. Rome 2.0. Rome 2.0. So yeah. So if you look at what happened back then, they fired so many rockets at them that they depleted their Iron Dome missile defense system. And they knew it was going to take time for them to get that weaponry back over there. Now, y'all know I've said this in a lot of videos from the time I was a little boy. My favorite types of books to read at the library were choose your own adventure books, comic books, and war history. I like history, period. I love history, but I was a big fan of war history. So it's, for me, it's, in spite of the fact that, with war, of course, people die, and that's the sad part. But when you look at it from the strategic standpoint, it's like watching a chess match play out. So that's the part for me that's fascinating. If you look at it, they ran them out, and they were taking note of the fact that, hey, it's going to take them a while to replenish. You don't think the Iranians weren't looking at that? You don't think the Iranians weren't looking at that? So if you look at this narrative that Larry Johnson just gave, he's like, look, they didn't even send their top stuff over and got some ordnance through. Ordnance, y'all, for those of you who are not military or not ex-military, ordnance just means like explosives, bombs, weaponry, that kind of thing. That's what ordnance means. They got their ordnance through and hit some airfields, is what I read and what I heard. They hit some airstrips, kind of the same thing that Israel did to the Egyptians back in that 1967 war, where they hit them with a surprise attack, bombed their runways so they couldn't get their fighter planes off the ground, bombed the hangars. It's almost like this stuff is coming back around. It's crazy to watch it, y'all. It's crazy to watch it. But I think that they took note of that, and now they got that in their back pocket. Now they're like, okay, man, we ain't even send our best stuff there, and damn near ran them out of rounds. Okay, it's like spades. It's yeah. For those of y'all that play spades, y'all will get this. Okay, I think what's happening right now, and I'm gonna go to some other videos, but from what I see, this is like a game of spades where Iran and plug in whoever, Russia, whoever the ally is, whatever, plug them in. They sitting across from each other at the table, and then you got the U.S. and Israel sitting perpendicular to them or at the same spades table, and the cards have been dealt, and it's time to bid how many books you think you're gonna get, and it's like the U.S. Y'all know, y'all have played spades before, where you don't have a strong hand, but you bid low. It's like you purposely bid low to try to catch the other guy, to make him bid higher and try to set him. Meaning trap him, get him to bid something that he can't make all his books. So it's like you trying to set him by bluffing and saying, oh, I think we can get this many. All I think we can get is this. Well, Iran, it's like the U.S. and Israel, they got dealt some crappy hands, and Iran holding all the spades. And what Iran, pretty much their strategy to me is it's like they got the big joker, the little joker, the ace, king, queen. If you're playing deuces high, they got the deuce, jack, okay, 10. They got the top spades, and they sitting there looking at it like, when they bid their hand, they're like, okay, we're going 10. We're going 10 for 200. And what are you doing spades when you hold that many spades? Boom. As soon as the spade is played, you start calling spades so you can run that other guy out of spades. You run him out of spades, boom, you're going to set him. He's not going to make his books. This is like a spades game, y'all. And Iran got a better hand they holding right now. And they're going to mess around and call spades. Again, Eric said he feels like Israel should respond. Iran, like, now y'all know I'm originally from New York, but I live down south now. I don't do a good Southern accent, but I'm gonna try to give y'all a little comedy in there. It's like that bully stepped up, caught the wrong person slapped him up a little bit and said, all right, now, man, look here, play. Go on, set your little lad down now. Go on, sit your little lad down before you get hurt now. Go on, boy. I ain't playing you, boy. You come back again, you're gonna get hurt, boy. That's what I think happened. But let me move, y'all. Let me keep it moving. That was a terrible Southern accent. I know y'all don't ding me too hard in the comments. I know. Y'all don't ding me too hard. Don't ding me too hard. Tony said, Israel's going to retaliate and World War III will be on. When you watch this, I want to. Lady Dagestat is laughing at me. Tony, I want to comment on that, but I want you to hear what some of these other analysts are saying, because Israel's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now. They kind of caught between a rock and a hard place politically, as is the U.S., because the U.S. understands the ramifications of an Israeli response and don't want them to do it. But the Israelis and Benjamin Netanyahu, who is embattled right now, he understands the ramifications of not responding. Like, he's trying to literally save his life because they on him right now. The only way he survives is if he stays in office. If he goes out of office, they on him for war crimes. So he kind of in position where he got to respond even if he don't want to. So this is, but I'm here to tell y'all this is all the doing of the Most High, and this stuff is cosmically being ignited, okay? It's being cosmically ignited. And for those of y'all that's ultra religious in the comments watching this, please understand and understand that the cosmos was created by the Creator. And all it is his machine that he uses to do what he does, okay? Ain't none of y'all out there, most of y'all watching this video, ain't none of y'all got no iron tub and no washboard washing your clothes by hand no more, okay? Like our great-grandparents did. Y'all got a washing machine, okay? Same thing with the cosmos. That's the Most High not having to wash something manually. Let me get a machine that's going to do this for me. That's all the cosmos are, y'all. All right, let me get off that. Let me get off that tangent. I feel like I repeat that all the time, and it gets a little bit old, but maybe it doesn't get old. Here we go. Next video. All right, so this one is going to be by a guy named Scott Ritter. We're going to a military guy now. Scott Ritter, and this is the same Dialogue Works channel. All right, this one I'm going to play about this one I'm going to play about 3 minutes of this one. This will be about 3 minutes. So this one's short. I mean, the segment I'm playing is short. Here we go. You still got a washboard? Wow. That's dope, man. That is dope.
Here's the thing. I think it will happen eventually. I think Israel's finished as a nation state. I think that they have created the conditions for their own demise. In order to survive, Israel needed to have this India-Middle East economic corridor, connectivity between India through the Middle East, through Israel, into Europe. Israel, if you remember, Benjamin Netanyahu in September at the General Assembly debate stood up and he didn't have the drawing of the Iranian bomb that he normally had. He had a map that showed the role that Israel was playing in this connectivity, and that connectivity implied normalization of relations, diplomatic and economic interaction, and Israel was going to serve as this economic hub, a thriving economy that would lead Israel to great things. That is never going to happen. It's finished. There will never be an India-Middle East economic corridor that goes through Israel. That's over. And the Houthi have shown the Achilles heel of Israel by shutting down the Bab el-Mandeb. I keep saying that because I finally pronounce it right. Costing Israel billions of dollars in trade. Israel will never recover from this. And the global isolation will stay forever because Israel will continue to resist the creation of a Palestinian state. And so what's going to happen is life in Israel is going to become unlivable. And all these American Jews and all these European Jews that flew to Israel to live in their high rise, to live the nice life and sip their coffee and eat their kebab or whatever they do, Israel's not going to be able to sustain that lifestyle anymore. So they're going to flee by the millions, going back home. And what's going to be left is the pathetic few who have nowhere to go. And therefore, the only route of survival is to be absorbed by a singular Palestinian national entity. That's the future of Israel. They did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. Their arrogance, their murderous genocidal policies against the Palestinians has caught up with them. And so what the rest of the world does isn't going to change that outcome. It could accelerate that outcome. And there may come a point in time where Saudi Arabia decides that it will, open its skies to Houthi missiles. Already the Iranians are starting to fire weapons. They blew up a oil refinery in Haifa the other day. Israel's finished. It's over for Israel. I mean, they haven't been counted out yet, but there's no way Israel is going to survive this struggle. And that's the genius of what Hamas did on October 7th. Nobody wants to talk about that genius, but everybody knows that there's a October 6th reality and there's a post-October 7th reality. The post-October 7th reality is Israel's finished.
How do you see
All right, let me get that off the screen. Tony said that's going to happen, as Scott said. Let me show you a couple things. Let me show you a couple things here. A couple things. Number one, what he talked about is universal law. I'm always talking about universal law on this channel, on this platform, and universal law is found in Scripture. Okay, let me show you here what I mean. Y'all see me put this one up here a lot. It's one of my favorite ones. Universal law, right here. This is why you got to live righteously, y'all. Right here. Let me put it up on the screen for y'all. Proverbs 26 and 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. Okay? And there's another one I brought up earlier. I'm going to come back to this. Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. Who shall fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations? The original Yahudim, the original Israelites from the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, the original ones, they fell by the edge of the sword and shall be led away into captive into all nations. This was a prophecy that was delivered by the Messiah some 3 decades or so before it happened. Okay? This was a prophecy that was delivered by the Messiah some 3 decades or so before it happened. Okay? It was the Romans. The Romans came in and did that. But here's the part that comes next. It says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. What did he say? He said, Israel's finished. Which begs the question, who are the so-called Jews and who are the so-called Gentiles? All right. If it says it's going to be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, well, then if the people that are there now are the ones who were who fell by the edge of the sword and were led away captive into all nations, then their presence in the land should be in perpetuity. Because if you understand the prophecy said he was going to return. Let me go there. I wasn't trying to get this heavy in the scripture tonight, y'all, but let me go there. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay. Let's go to 30 and 8. This is one of my favorite ones. For it shall come to pass in that day, that saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, who? The stranger, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. All right. Let's skip down to, let's read 9. But they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Some people get that twisted. They get that scripture twisted, and they think that meant ancient David, when if you understand that David is a thing and a name, okay, if you understand a little bit of ancient Hebrew, you know that David is Dawad. Da is the door of a tent. Wa is a tent peg. What does the tent peg do? It holds a tent down, or it holds the house down, and then Da. So you got Da here, Wa here, and Da here. You got a tent opening here, a tent peg that has 2 ropes attached to it. It has a rope attached to it, tying this one down, and another Da. What does Dawad mean? It means the one who brings together 2 houses. You got Israel and Judah. That's a future prophecy that did not happen yet. But they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Keep going. Verse 10. Therefore fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Look at some of these countries around here where the so-called black man does not rule himself. If you're not ruling yourself, then you're subjugated to somebody else. You're being held captive by somebody else. Are the people in the modern land of Israel subjugated under anybody but themselves? No. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet. Have they been quiet since the declaration of a state in 1948? No. And none shall make him afraid. Are they afraid every time the air raid sirens go off? Yes, I would be. If we had air raid sirens here, I wouldn't be afraid, because I'd be like, if it's my time, it's my time, but it is what it is. But anyway, y'all know how we get down. Verse 11, for I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. And by the way, for those of y'all that think, Matt, just being hard, Psalms 127:1. All right, go read it. Psalms 127:1. If God don't watch over the city, the watchmen, they doing their job, but they doing it in vain. So if God ain't watching out for me, I can't watch out for myself. Period. Boom. Let's keep it moving. Verse 11, for I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but will correct thee in measure. Let me skip down, because this is the kicker right here. Verse 18, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap. Upon her own heap. What did I just show y'all with that missile command Atari 2600 video? What did I just show y'all? You saw at the end of that. Anybody that played Atari 2600 back in the 1980s and played Missile Command, you know eventually the game was going to beat you. Them darn missiles were going to be coming down so fast that you weren't going to be able to hit them, and the game was over when all of your cities were what you call it. Is that what this is talking about? And the city shall be building upon her own heap. The cities over there ain't in no heap right now, and they weren't when they were occupied back in the 1940s. They weren't on a heap. They were already there. The Palestinians were living in them. Okay, verse 19, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation, or the joining of them, the gathering of them, shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them. I will punish all that oppress them. God said he was going to do that. Not, I'm going to call your allies in and help you oppress them. I'm going to help you. I'm going to call your allies in and you and your allies going to punish them that oppress you. That's not what's written. But this is the kicker right here. Verse 21, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. When is the last time the so-called black man ruled himself? In this land? I ain't talking about the African nations, because I mean, truth be told, you know, they got Europe. I'm not even gonna deal with that right now. Y'all know who propping up most of them governments over there and putting money in people's pockets. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, anyway, let me stop because some people get triggered. Their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. When's the last time the so-called black man ruled himself? He hasn't ruled himself since the fall of the Iberian Peninsula in 1492. That was the last time that this seed right here, that's the seed of them. Okay. This seed over here, that's the seed of them. That's the last time they ruled themselves. And as for the brothers and sisters that existed here prior to the arrival of Columbus, they haven't ruled themselves since the Europeans came and seized the land and took it by military force. So, and their nobles shall be of themselves, verse 21, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. That's prophecy that's coming. I don't even know why. Sometimes God send you down a path you wasn't even trying to go down. Let me get that off of there. Universal law, y'all. Universal law. I don't have it there. But that's interesting right here since it came up. How about that? Verse 19, Jeremiah 16 and 19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge, period. In the day of their affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. How do you inherit? What's an inheritance? Something that's passed down. Surely our fathers have inherited lies. So the lies were passed down from generation to generation. This is who you are. This is your land. I told y'all last year in that 2024 predictions video that this 8-year energy, 2024, 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. This 8-year energy was going to expose a lot of the lies so that the truth could come forward. That has been happening all year long. And we're less than 120 days into 2024 calendar year anyway. All right. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know mine hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is the Most High. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? All right. Now, let me get this off the screen for a minute. I'm gonna hit y'all a little bit more Matt commentary, and then I'm gonna bring up the these last two videos. Okay. Eric's video. Eric was talking about how the Khomeini or whatever from Iran was mocking them by saying in Hebrew that they were going to control Jerusalem or something again, whatever. Okay, that ain't prophecy either, but that's a story for another day. The thing that I found interesting, and I'm gonna say this, y'all, because look, this is an 8-year. This stuff is being exposed. Everybody dropping their opinion on stuff. I'm gonna throw mine in there too. dating back to that first beef that they had. I want to say, I don't remember if that was 2021 or 2022, but where they had that little scuffle on the Temple Mount during Jerusalem Day, where they tried to roll up in the Dome of the Rock or the Al-Aqsa Mosque or something, and then they had that scuffle and an ensuing little conflict, little miniature conflict after that. I saw something and I said, you know what, man? The people who occupy that land right now, who are in charge of it, let's call it what it is, who are in charge of it, their religious leaders have been talking about plans to build a third temple for a long time on the Temple Mount. You cannot put a temple on the Temple Mount. Or they're not going to do it. You could, if you wanted to be like righteous and share the space, they could. But they have no, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, they have no desire to construct a third temple on that Temple Mount while there are Islamic structures there. So I asked myself, I said, man, I wonder if there's going to be like some kind of military conflict where a rocket or something accidentally hits one of those structures and blows it up. And then they can blame it on the people who they say shot it. That thought crossed my mind. I'm keeping it 100. I'm keeping it 100. That thought crossed my mind. And now you got this alleged, not alleged tweet, because the tweet's out there or whatever, but they're showing you, these rockets went over Jerusalem and stuff like that. And just something I thought about. Just something I thought about. I wonder if those structures accidentally get destroyed, so that and if that is why some of this stuff. Look, I look at everything. Some people be like conspiracy theory, this, that, whatever. I don't call it any of that. I call it looking at the data available and hypothesizing. That's what scientists do. So call it political science, if you will. Call it geopolitical science. It's hypothesizing what could possibly happen. That's all you got to do. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I said I wonder. But anyway, let me keep it moving. He said red heifers. Yeah, exactly. They ready to sacrifice them. They ready to do this thing. But if this whole thing was fomented for that, I think it was a critical error. And it goes back to universal law. Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein. All right? Sometimes you think you're setting a trap and you fall in it. Sometimes you really mess up because you didn't do all of the proper calculations, and you let your ego and your desire, I'm talking about the low vibrational aspect of it, your desire cause you to F around and find out. But let me keep going. Let's watch another video, y'all. All right, that was Scott Ritter, former Marine intelligence officer. We're going to hear from, I think this is the last one I got, y'all. Yeah, this is Colonel Larry Wilkerson, a retired Army colonel, and he's giving you his commentary on why the trouble that he thinks that what's his name is in, and why this is really a no-win situation for the Bibi administration, Bibi Netanyahu. Let's bring this up on the screen. If y'all are liking this video so far and you haven't done it, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up on this. Here we go.
He'll break the coalition up.
It seems to me that Netanyahu sees this attack on Rafah as his final chance of having some sort of honor to be the prime minister of Israel. But we know one side is this Netanyahu administration wanting to attack Rafah. On the other side, we've seen that Arab states, especially King of Jordan, said to Joe Biden that we have this red line. They cannot attack Rafah. And we have Biden that is hurting from this policy in Gaza at home and in 2024. Do you think the final solution for the Biden administration, what they're going to come with, in your opinion, for this conflict in Gaza to control the Netanyahu administration? Do you think at the end of the day they can control the Netanyahu administration not to attack Gaza?
I think we have two governments at loggerheads right now. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I think the word from President Biden, however it was delivered, probably through Blinken, but I'm not sure, was you must not conduct the offensive in Rafah. It's done, it's finished, mop up, clean up, extract your troops. If you're gonna
Let me pause this, y'all. Actually, I'm looking at my notes wrong. I meant to start this at 28:31. So let me go back. It's just an extra 2 minutes. My bad, y'all.
he might just not want to dance.
Just shifting the gear to the conflict in Gaza, it was so amazing to see that Ben Gvir was threatening Netanyahu that he has to finish his job, he has to attack Rafah, because if not, he's not going to be prime minister of Israel. And you see these people who are, even Ben Gvir, more radical than Netanyahu. What's going on in Israel?
Yeah. Well, you look at this dichotomy. You've got on the one hand, the push coming from the ultra-Orthodox and the Orthodox to do everything possible to allow Ben Gvir to start settling Gaza. But not a single one of them wants to serve. None of them want to be in the IDF. So you have this dichotomy that's just laughable if it weren't so cruel. But in terms of Ben Gvir and the coalition, yeah, he could wreck Netanyahu immediately. He knows it. I have always had a hard time believing that Bibi was as crass and cruel an individual as he appears to be now. I think that last step towards that depravity and that cruelness, that bestiality, was forced on him politically because he couldn't stay in power and thus out of jail unless he made an agreement with Ben Gvir and his boys and some women. The women are the ones that stunned me. They'll just stand up there and say every Palestinian should be dead yesterday. I was listening to one the other day saying things like that. So he's in a trick bag. Bibi is, if he wants to stay out of jail, if he wants to stay in power, he's got to be very careful with how he treats Ben Gvir. And Ben Gvir wants one thing. He wants to settle Gaza. He wants as many Palestinians gone as possible. He'll take a few left over because he'll get rid of them, just like he did in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. He'll get rid of them. But he wants to start to settle Gaza a little bit at a time, moving all the way down eventually to the Egyptian border. That's what he wants to do. And if Netanyahu stands in his way, I have no doubt that if Ben Gvir thinks he's standing in his way and it's immutable, he can't change it, he'll break the coalition up.
It seems to me that Netanyahu sees this attack on Rafah as his final chance of having some sort of honor to be the prime minister of Israel. But we know one side is this Netanyahu administration wanting to attack Rafah. On the other side, we've seen that Arab states, especially King of Jordan, said to Joe Biden that we have this red line. They cannot attack Rafah. And we have Biden that is hurting from this policy in Gaza at home and in 2024. Do you think the final solution for the Biden administration, what they're going to come with, in your opinion, for this conflict in Gaza to control the Netanyahu administration? Do you think at the end of the day they can control the Netanyahu administration not to attack Gaza?
I think we have two governments at loggerheads right now. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I think the word from President Biden, however it was delivered, probably through Blinken, but I'm not sure, was you must not conduct the offensive in Rafah. It's done, it's finished, mop up, clean up, extract your troops. If you're going to leave them there, we got to talk about it because we have different solutions for the aftermath than you do if you're thinking about leaving occupying forces there. I don't know how that's going to materialize. I don't know what's going to come out of that. I know that at least for public consumption at the moment, Netanyahu says, no, I'm going to finish this, and Rafah is the finish. So he's got orders from Biden, if you can call them orders, and he's got his own wishes. How that's going to be reconciled, we will find out. I just don't know. I couldn't even make a good prediction. Knowing what I know about Bibi and the pressures that he's under, I suspect he may go ahead. I don't think it'll be as massive as he wanted it to be. And that I say that for a number of reasons. One, the IDF is not what it was. And the reservists who have been called up and are now serving, 5-6 months, want to go home. And there's a lot of other tension going on too, as I understand it. So, and the casualties have been higher than anybody predicted. And we don't know the truth about the casualties. I'm telling everybody, wait until it's over, and then some historian will go over there, or some Mercy Corps individual, and count bodies, and you'll find out there are twice as many as both sides have been saying, except maybe Hamas has been exaggerating the other way to make Bibi look bad. But it won't be what people are saying. It'll be very different. So there are all kinds of pressures on the idea. Remember, we had to readjust and call up more reservists and so forth if we were going to do Rafah. I don't think that has gone through as extensively as they suspected. One, because the Orthodox wouldn't give in. They thought they were going to get some new numbers. And two, because they're getting so much pressure from the existing reservists, and they know they're going to get more pressure if they call up more. So there are all kinds of things playing in Netanyahu's game right now, plus these instructions from Biden. I just don't know how they're going to play out. My guess, bad guess, but it would be he'll go ahead with some sort of offensive just so he saves his own reputation in his own eyes. But I don't think it'll be as bad as was anticipated.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Jojo, really? Amita said Temple Mount Institute. They've been planning this for a long time. That is very correct. Tony said, why call a brown cow red? I guess they call. Yo, man, y'all give me these comments, man. He said, why? Come on, Tony. Tony, man, they don't make a laugh emoji to big enough for what I want to display right. That was good. That was good. She said, okay, Amita said they plan, but God, the Almighty, is the best of planners. Holy Quran. Let me put something up here, y'all. Let me show y'all something here. That's the last of the videos. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Okay. Because I want y'all to understand something. Every attempt, let me get this off of here. In fact, there's a scripture that talks about that. I want to say it's Isaiah let me bring that up for a second here. Isaiah the 60, where is it? Isaiah. Let's talk about that for just a minute, y'all. Isaiah the 60, is it the 61st chapter? Let's see. No, is it the 60th? Let's see. Hang on a second, y'all. I'm gonna find this passage. Or is it the 66th? Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. There it is. There it is. That's what I want. That's what I want right there. All right. Let's go here. I'm going to stop it there. Let me highlight that. All right. Let's bring this up. Let's talk about that third temple for a minute. I'm going to show y'all a couple of things here on that. Let me read a comment real quick. Jojo said, part of me wants them to just build the Raggedy A temple so we could just get it on. Once the son of perdition shows his face, we can pick a side, but the women and children up and get to business. Let me put this on the screen. I've read this before on the live, but I'm gonna read it again. Isaiah 66 and 1 through 2.5. Okay. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you will build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath my hand made, and all those things have been, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. Okay, so God is like, I made the earth. What house are you gonna build for me? Let's start right there. Okay. Secondly, let's start here. Let's go here. We started there. Let's go here. Because I want y'all to understand something. Every attempt to rebuild a temple there since the second temple was destroyed by the Romans has failed. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And I think it has everything to do with who was there trying to build a temple. How you going to build a temple? How you going to build a temple to the Most High and he don't know you? I'm just saying. All right. Let's bring this up. This is on Wikipedia. Let's bring this up. Let me see if I can make it bigger so y'all can see it. Okay. That's too big. Hopefully y'all can see that. All right. Third temple. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Okay. The third temple refers to a hypothetical rebuilt temple in Jerusalem. It would succeed Solomon's temple and the second temple, the former having been destroyed during the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem in around 587 BCE, and the latter having been destroyed during the Roman siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE, or AD, as some people call it. Old school people say AD. New school people say Common Era, CE. The notion of and desire for the third temple is sacred in Judaism, particularly in Orthodox Judaism. It would be the most sacred place of worship for Jews. The Hebrew Bible holds that Jewish prophets called for its construction prior to or in tandem with the Messianic age. The building of the third temple also plays a major role in some interpretations of Christian eschatology. All right. And some groups of devout Jews, and among some groups of devout Jews, anticipation of a future project to build a third temple at the Temple Mount in the old city of Jerusalem has been espoused as an ideological motive in Israel. Building the third temple has been contested by Muslims due to the existence of the Dome of the Rock, which was built by the Umayyad Caliphate on the site of the destroyed Solomon's temple and second temple. Tensions between Jews and Muslims over the Temple Mount have carried over politically as one of the major flashpoints of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and the area has been a subject of significant debate in the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. Most of the international community has refrained from recognizing any sovereignty over Jerusalem due to the conflicting territorial claims between Israel and the Palestinian National Authority, as both sides have asserted it as their capital city. Here's the kicker. Attempts at rebuilding. Since the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE by the Romans, some Jews have expressed their desire to build a third temple on the Temple Mount. Prayer for this is a formal part of the Jewish tradition of thrice daily Amidah prayer. Although it remains unbuilt, the notion of and desire for a third temple is sacred in Judaism. Following the Second Temple's destruction, most rabbis adopted the position that Jewish law prohibits reconstructing the Holy Third Temple prior to the age of Messianic redemption, or that the law is too ambiguous and that the Messiah must come first. Now, here was their first attempt to rebuild it, the Bar Kokhba revolt. In early 2nd century AD, Roman Emperor Hadrian granted permission to rebuild the destroyed Second Temple, but changed his mind. The forces of Simon Bar Kokhba captured Jerusalem from the Romans in 132 CE and held the city for about 3 years. Construction of a new temple continued. Bar Kokhba's failure to keep control of the city led to the writing of the Mishnah, as the religious leaders believed that the next attempt to rebuild the temple might be centuries away, and memory of the practices and ceremonies must be documented, otherwise they would be lost. As punishment for the revolt, the Romans renamed Jerusalem to Aelia Capitolina and the province to Syria Palestina. That's how it got the name. It was originally Judah or Judea minus the J, which probably would have been Yahuda or something like that. Anyway, Jews were prohibited in the city except for the day of Tisha B'Av. Rabbis that survived persecution, see the 10 martyrs, were allowed to continue their school in Jabnia as long as they paid the Fiscus Judaicus, okay? Some fee, I guess. The Julian age. There was an aborted project under Roman Emperor Julian, 361 to 363 CE, to rebuild the temple. Julian is traditionally called Julian the Apostate due to his policy of reversing Emperor Constantine's Christianization campaign by restoring traditional religious practices and holy places across the empire. As part of this policy, Julian permitted the Jews to begin building a third temple. Rabbi Hilkiah, one of the leading rabbis of the time, spurned Julian's money, arguing that Gentiles should play no part in the rebuilding of the temple. According to later ancient sources, including Sozomen in the Historia Ecclesiastica and the pagan historian and close friend of Julian, Ammianus Marcellinus, the project of the rebuilding temple was aborted because each time the workers tried to build a temple using the existing substructure, they were burned by terrible flames coming from inside the earth, and an earthquake destroyed what work was done. Okay, so you can keep reading down here. I'll put the link to this in the chat, and y'all can see that each time someone attempted to rebuild that temple, it didn't happen. Okay, so you gotta, I mean, if I'm a betting man and I gotta bet money, I'm betting it ain't gonna get rebuilt by who's living there right now. It just hasn't. Why? Because Isaiah 66:1. But on top of that, again, the original inhabitants in mass have not returned. Now, y'all can argue that one, and anybody watching this can argue that too. But that brings up a very interesting point that's a good segue. We talked about this in the last live and one before that, perhaps. This whole release of the Russian icons, aka the images of the so-called black prophets and patriarchs and Messiah, okay, by Vladimir Putin, and showing, and I've been seeing some images where they're showing the Pope and praying to like a black Madonna, black. Y'all don't like that term, but we don't use it because everybody can identify with it. I don't like it. Y'all go watch my video, What Can Simple Bags of Flour Teach Us About Race? And you'll know why I don't like the term black or white, even for that matter. I don't like either one of those terms because all they do, they're masks. They're masks for true identities. But anyway, so Putin releases the so-called black Russian icons. Half the world is in an uproar. Meanwhile, the rest of the folks like, y'all just now realizing that? We've been telling y'all that all along. Okay, so you got that going on. All right, and then on top of that, now you got, so Putin, what's he doing? He's showing himself to be the moral authority, if you will, a moral high authority. Y'all, I think this whole war, this whole extension of the longest running war, as I called it in another video, this conflict has been going on since 70 AD. Since 70 AD, the Romans have been chasing they couldn't kill everybody, so they've been chasing them around the planet since 70 AD. The Romans have been chasing the real Israelite, the real Yahudim around the planet since 70 AD. All right, since after that war ended, and then again in 73 AD, and then you saw the Bar Kokhba revolt in 132, which wasn't the original inhabitants. They had already been scattered. These were the people that came and took up the cause that weren't the originals. But that's a story for another day. Y'all do your history, man, and stop listening to some of these narratives without cross-checking for yourself. Do your own research. Do your own research. Don't even believe nothing I'm telling you. Do your own research, okay? Don't just go by what you heard. Look for this information for yourself. If you seek knowledge, it will come to you. If you seek wisdom, if you seek truth, that's really what it's about. If you seek truth, it will be revealed to you. The problem is a lot of people don't want to seek the truth, because I've said this on a number of other videos, and I'm going to say it again. Every person walking this planet has an internal truth receptor, such that when that truth hits your ear, you either accept it or you vehemently reject it. But you know the truth when it hits your ear. You know it. Everybody on this planet knows the truth when it hits their ear. You may not necessarily, I said this before, you believe the lie, but you know the truth. Nobody ever says, I believe the truth. They believe a lie. They believe something somebody told them. But once you know the truth, you no longer believe it. Belief and knowledge don't go together. You either know a thing or you believe it because you truly don't know it. You believe it or you don't believe something that you don't know. But once you know it, you know it. All right. So everybody has an internal truth receptor. And when that truth hits their ears, they reject it or accept it. All right. So now the whole Russian icons thing, Putin is presenting himself in a higher moral authority than the United States. This is a war, y'all. And you know that wars are not just physical, they're spiritual and mental as well. So they are trying, this whole thing, y'all, is this whole conflict is truly, if you understand what you're looking at and you go back to ancient history, this is like the fall of Rome repeating itself. Okay. And so once upon a time, America was called the moral authority for the world. And now here you got this man producing these images and this ancient artwork. And I spoke on it the last time. My take on it is that he released it to show, because nobody else was stepping up helping these civilians that were getting bombed and killed on a regular. Nobody was stepping up to help them. So he says, all right, look, let me play this card. Look who's really from this region. Boom. Look what they look like. Boom. It ain't y'all. So this whole notion of y'all taking this land because that's your ancient homeland, it's not holding water here. As you can see it, it's not holding water. I have the images of the black Jesus. He's black man. He's not holding water. You people are saying that you are the original Jews. Here's a picture. Jesus was black. The original prophets, they were black. That's a bad Russian accent, y'all. But I watch a lot of TV series and stuff like that. But y'all roll with it. Use your imagination, all right? Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're black. These people, no, you're not them. So why are you bombing these people, telling them to get out of your land? You're in the wrong, okay? So then you got this attack that happens on Tina laughing. So then you get this attack that happens on the Iranian consulate in Syria. Iran, what did they do? Iran went to the UN. They said, is y'all gonna do something about this? Nah, man, y'all Iran, man. Oh, y'all better than us, okay? So if we did that, y'all be up our ass, okay? But they do it to us and y'all good with it? All right, let me send a response. So then they go and they run them out of spades. All right, run them out of spades, and then just drop just enough ordnance on a military air base or two to send a message. And that message says, y'all still want to do this? Y'all still want to do this? What do they understand? I told y'all. They understood from watching the Iron Dome rockets get depleted, fighting against a military that ain't even a powerful military. I mean, they're a bunch of militants, but they're not a standing military. And they got their rockets damn near depleted by a group of militants. And you got a whole military over here with an Air Force, a Navy, and everything else, a ground force. And they like, if they did this, man, this would be a piece of cake for us. We can run them out of here. They don't produce their own weapons. Okay. They got to buy them from the US. Hey, you know what? We got the Houthis down here that ain't letting nothing come up in the up and through the Strait of Hormuz that's going to resupply these people. So we shutting them down over here. We got this on lock over here. If they really want to push this, we got them. Now watch this, because I showed y'all this in another video too. Watch this. And I got one more thing I'm gonna show y'all after that, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Staying in the flow, y'all. Staying in the flow. Here we go. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? Look at the date on this. U.S. allows Israeli visa-free entry as Israel opens travel to Palestinian Americans, whatever. Okay, so basically, in a week before, 1 week before, and y'all can look this up. I mean, this is not news anymore. This happened last September. Okay, let me stop sharing. So we talked about this before, and I gave my narrative on it. I said when I saw this happen. And then 1 week later, this whole thing kicks off with Hamas taking some flying go-karts or something over the fence and wreaking havoc or whatever. I said to myself then, I said, you know what? And all y'all to be coming on here talking about astrologies. I'm telling y'all, man, these nations since the beginning of time have used seers to help them understand what's coming. Okay? To help them understand what's coming. Why? Because you want to hold on to power. So I told y'all when I saw that I felt like somebody saw something big happening coming down the pike in short form in that land that was going to require a lot of people to have to evacuate. And the U.S. was opening their doors by putting that policy into place in advance. Now, what you got going on? You heard what Scott Ritter said. Scott Ritter said he thinks Israel is done. If you run out of your listen. I was in Air Force Junior ROTC in high school. And one of the things we learned, one of the things they taught us in Air Force Junior ROTC is that you win wars via air superiority and via control of the seaways, the sea, okay? You control the water, you control the airspace above a country, you eventually can defeat them. If you cannot protect your airspace, it's a matter of time before you fall. Okay, so what the Iranians did was they showed that we have the ability to deplete or to exhaust your ability to defend your airspace. We have the ability to do that, and then come with the heat. So what happens after the air superiority is gained? This is what these are just military concepts they taught us in high school in Air Force Junior ROTC. Once air superiority is gained by a nation, then they can come with their ground attack because they don't have to worry about getting strafed or bombed from above because they control the air. So what you think is going to happen if Israel continues to push this thing with Iran? And then US, aka Rome 2.0, we just got out of a 20-year conflict with Afghanistan. I mean, the same thing happened with Rome, y'all. The troops started getting battle weary. They started being like, why we keep fighting like home is back there, man? We've been gone from home forever. You heard that this thing ain't even been a year, and the Israeli reservists already tired. They're not even American fighting. Look, they're not even us. They're not even American forces. I say us. I'm not in the army anymore, but I'm just saying they're already battle weary and ain't even been fighting a year. So what Scott Ritter is saying is kind of making some sense if you do the math. If you don't manufacture your own weapons, your own armament, and you got to buy it from somebody else, but you don't control the air, and you having a tough time with the water space, it's just a matter of time before they're like, all right, we got them. It's simple math, y'all. It's numbers. It's simple math. It's numbers. That's how Rome fell. So you got Putin presenting himself as a moral authority. Hey, look, I got to do something to help these people over here because none of these other Western countries are helping these people. Meanwhile, this country is indiscriminately bombing and slaughtering people. And you heard what the other dude said. He said that whoever this guy is that's pushing Netanyahu's buttons, he like, look, we want Gaza so we can start, moving into there or whatever. So, you see they coming with the bulldozers clearing the stuff off after they blow the buildings up. So BB caught between a rock and a hard place. So it's like, if I keep pushing this, man, I'm gonna go down in history. I could potentially go down in history as the dude who lost this country. But if I don't push it, they're gonna get me out of here. Then I'm going to jail. That's called being caught between a rock and a hard place. But that's also called universal law. You can't keep doing this stuff. And there's another thing, y'all. People be talking to me about religion all the time. Listen, I don't knock anybody who is religious. I don't care what your religion is. I don't knock it. I used to consider myself religious until I had a spiritual awakening. Now I understand that really, ultimately, the only things that matter are natural law and universal law. Universal law governs the cosmos and everything underneath it. Natural law governs the earth. Universal law is inescapable. You cannot escape universal law. Universal law is objects in motion remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force, and objects at rest remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. That's another example of universal law. Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein, and he who rolled the stone will return unto him. That's universal law. It's always going to happen. Okay. What's another one? Be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, that will he also reap. If you drop an orange seed in some fertile soil, an orange tree gonna grow. You can't get an apple tree from an orange seed. It don't work that way. That's universal law. Universal law, the laws that govern the cosmos. Okay. What is natural law? Natural laws are the laws that govern nature. Now, you can violate natural law, but you're gonna pay for it. And what are two of the biggest violations of natural law that we see repeatedly in the world? It's gonna rub some of y'all the wrong way, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sexual immorality. I'm talking about laws that go against nature. I mean, I'm not laws. Sexual acts that go against nature. That's a violation of natural law. Okay, that's one. Another violation of natural law is innocent bloodshed. Blood hitting the earth soil, the earth starts crying out like, wait a minute, what's going on? That don't go here. It goes inside the veins. Why is there blood being spilled on me? That's what the earth cries out when blood is hitting it. So that's got to get dealt with. So what happens is the earth responds. The earth responds using what? The elements. Wind, earth, air, fire. These storms, these 200-mile-an-hour hurricanes, that's nature saying, nah, I don't like what's going on. Let me get rid of the offender. Earthquakes, That's the earth element. I don't like what's going on. Sinkholes, I don't like what's going on. Let me get rid of the offender. Okay? Water, tsunamis, torrential rainfall. That's the earth responding saying, let me get rid of these offenders. Fires. I ain't talking about the kind that were created by a laser. I ain't talking about those. I'm talking about the earth. Also, the earth refusing to rain. I'm not gonna rain. I'm not gonna give water. I want this area to be parched and it'll be a drought or famine so that these people can get off of here. Y'all got to get up off of here. Y'all offending me. That's what happens when natural law is violated. So you got a whole bunch of innocent bloodshed that has been going on. And as far as that whole sexual immorality thing, that's supposed to be the Holy Land. I ain't gonna talk about what goes on over there. Y'all know. Y'all watch. Y'all watch. Y'all got access to the. Y'all supposed to be the arbiters of righteousness, but y'all are offending the laws of nature over there. And I ain't saying y'all like everybody, because I understand there are people to get caught up in the mix. I just talked about that at the beginning of this live stream. Soldiers don't know each other. They would probably get along if they didn't have governments telling them to point their scopes at each other and squeeze rounds off. I witnessed that. I met some cool soldiers from other countries when I was deployed. I'm like, man, these dudes is just like us. They want to eat good food. They like the ladies. They love their families. They like sports, whatever their sport is. It may not be ours. It might be cricket. It might be soccer. You know, we like the NBA. We like the NFL, whatever over here. All men like a little bit of combat sport, wrestling, boxing, whatever. But I'm like, man, we all the same. As far as the energy, everything ultimately is energy. When you exit this body, it doesn't matter if you are melanated or non-melanated. You are energy. You're energy. So, but yeah, man. Yeah, everybody, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, let me get off of that. What's up, Anye's Intuitive? What's up, Anye? So yeah. So you got Putin saying these people don't belong here. I'm showing you here. Look at the pictures. They're not the people from here. Okay. Yes, yeah, they're not the people. Yes. Now, but what's the other one? Iran showing themselves to be a moral authority. Why? Because they hit Israel back and didn't hit one civilian. No civilian targets. They only targeted military installations. So they're showing you, hey, we are invoking some UN resolution, whatever. I don't remember what the resolution number was, 51 or something like. I don't remember what the resolution was, but they said, according to this UN resolution, we have the right to defend ourselves. So they invoked law, international law, and said, we have the right to defend ourselves. Since y'all ain't gonna do nothing, y'all ain't gonna sanction these people, y'all just gonna let them just bomb our consulates and kill our generals or whatever when they minding their own business or whatever, then we got to strike back. And they did it, and they thumped them hard. And basically, again, they only hit military targets. So what are they doing? They have the reason. And then here's the other thing too. They told them up front. They said this is just going to be a limited strike. They told them. They said we coming, but it's just going to be limited. So we ain't gonna punch you, body blow you, body slam you, judo chop you, you know, whatever, tap you out. We just gonna come in and slap you real hard and let you know we can do this when we want to. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And in doing all of that, they showed themselves to be more morally. They showed that they basically positioned themselves as a little bit more moral than the very people who's supposed to be the moral authorities for the world. That ain't supposed to happen. According to the media, according to the talking heads in both countries, the US and Israel, that ish right there ain't supposed to happen. Iran's supposed to be like evil, but y'all, what y'all did is y'all let them get a punch off militarily. They punched and got out like Ray Leonard, like Angelo Dundee used to tell Ray Leonard, punch and get out, son, punch and get out. They punched and got out. All right. Eric talking about 99.9% of the ordnance, whatever, got shot down. Yeah, but you know what? If I run you out of space, then what? You're going to get set. So one bid they hand, the other one bid they hand. This one over here had a stronger hand. So, and then on top of that, they said, we told y'all it was going to be a limited strike. We didn't hit no civilians. We only hit the military. We put some holes in your runway to let you know that if we come back here again, we ain't gonna let you get no planes off the ground. And then we're gonna hit you a little bit harder. And we're gonna keep increasing the PSI of the punch until you get it. So y'all, let me just call it a spade. Let me look. This is what you call using the eye test. This is where you had that schoolyard fight and you use the eye test to see who won. This guy over here, yeah, you know what? He got off more punches, but he got a black eye and a bloody nose. This guy right here, this dude over here threw 50-some punches. This dude over here only threw 3, but them 3 landed effectively. Them 53, he got a scratch. That's it. The eye test says Iran won this skirmish. Call it what you want. I ain't no fanboy. I ain't got no dog in the fight. I ain't got no dog in either one of these fights. I'm a spectator. This is what you call Monday morning quarterback. I ain't got a dog in the fight. On paper, Iran won that skirmish. And they daring them to move again. And then Russia told the US, they said, by the way, Mr. Biden, if you come in here, you're going to have to deal with us. I don't think you want that. You don't want that, no? Okay, so you stay aside, let the Iran deal with their problems. You stay there. We're watching you. If you come into this thing, we're gonna. So nobody want this. Everybody talk about World War III and all. All of this rolls back up to one thing, man. One thing and one thing only. What's happening over there has got to happen. It's got to happen because some of the stuff was prophesied. He said, I don't think nothing is going to happen anymore. I'm going to tell you why I think that's wrong, Larry. I'm going to tell you why I think something is going to happen again. I'm going to tell you why I think something's going to happen again. Thank you for bringing that up because I was about to forget a point and I was about to get ready to wrap up. Let's look at some numerology, okay? Let's look at some numerology because I told y'all this conflict started in 70 AD. This conflict started in 70 AD. The actors that are in theater right now are not, well, 50% of the actors that are in theater right now are there, the Romans. Some people get mad at me when I say that. I just call it the way I see it. Everybody gives their opinion. Why is it that some people are frowned upon for giving an opinion that doesn't go along with the popular opinion? That's the other problem in these United States. We're supposed to have the freedom of speech, but if you ain't saying what's popular, what the media is saying you're supposed to be saying, then something wrong with you. Who's over there right now? Just listen. For those of y'all that are into language or your linguistics or whatever, just listen. Listen to the average Israeli person speaking modern Hebrew, because it ain't the ancient tongue. Modern Hebrew. Listen to them speak. Listen to Bibi Netanyahu speak. You ain't even got to know what he's saying. Listen to him. He sounds a lot of them sound, they have that heavy, romantic, Italian, Latin type of accent. So the accents are either Italian or Germanic. Listen. And then look at Netanyahu. Y'all look at Netanyahu real good and then picture him with a white toga on and a wreath, or picture him in a Roman general uniform and tell me he don't look like a Roman. Tell me he don't look like a Roman. I've said this for a number of times, y'all. Y'all can trace this thing back. You know what? Let me bring up one more thing here because we're going to look at some history. Let's bring up one more thing. Because when all is said and done, oh, you know what? I got away from my point. Let me come, my bad. Let me come back to Larry. I got away from my point. Let's look at some numerology real quick. And then I'm going to bring up something. We're going to talk about the history of Israel and talk about how we got here. And then I'm going to wrap this up. Okay. This is for Larry. Larry said he don't think anything's going to happen. I'll tell you why. Again, this goes back to 70 AD. Now, 70 AD to 2024 is 1,954 years. 1,954 years. Matter of fact, 1,954 years ago in the spring, the siege of Jerusalem started. It started 1,954 years ago in the spring. All right. I told y'all in several other lives that I ran the little computer program to see what the North Node was in 1,954 years ago when Jerusalem was attacked by 3 Roman legions, and it was Aries season during an Aries North Node. Now, we know that Aries is the ruler of the first house, right? Watch this. 1,954 years ago, this happened. Let's do a quick basic numerological reduction. 1 plus 9 is 10. Drop to 0. Hold the 1 over here. Okay. Now, that was 1,954 years ago. 1 plus 9 is 10. Drop to 0. Hold it over here. 1 plus 5 is 6. Okay. Because you got the 5 from the 54. You got the 5. And then 1 plus 5 is 6. And then you got 4 at the end. That's 6 plus 4 is 10. Drop to 0. That's 1. Who's the ruler of the first house? Aries. It's too much Aries energy hitting the earth right now for something not to happen. You got an Aries North Node. You got Aries season. This stuff is happening in. You have an 8-year. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the energy of war and conflict. All right. You got too much Aries and too much conflict energy out there for something else not to happen. Okay. All of that's happening. All that's going on right now. And then you got at the end of this month, you got Jupiter and Uranus aligning in the sign of Taurus. Okay. So they're going to be aligned in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter is the energy of expansion. Uranus, some people say Uranus. I'm saying it the way I said it growing up. Uranus, because everybody got an anus. All right. Uranus is the energy of rebellion. So you got the energy of expansion and the energy of rebellion aligning in the sign of Taurus, which is the sign of acquisition. It's the energy of acquisition. Mine. This is mine. These are my valuables. This is my money. This is my land. This is my stuff. So when you got the energy of expansion and rebellion aligned in the energy of possession, some kind of land grab's getting ready to happen, y'all. That alignment is coming, I think, April the 25th. What's up, Maze Trex? Yeah, catch the replay. You're going to love this one, brother. Catch the replay. All right? So I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done. If you look at all of this, there's a stalemate. It's got to be one way or the other. They can't just sit there. Israel has either got to respond. If they respond, Iran gonna hit them again. All right. If they don't respond, then Netanyahu's in trouble with his backers. So they caught between a rock and a hard place. The U.S. don't want to see an escalation. Netanyahu's backers want to see a response because it's going to tell the Israeli people, hey, we're not to be messed with. So that goes back to the whole, surely our fathers have inherited lies and things wherein there's no profit. Lies, vanity, and things wherein there's no profit. Jeremiah 16 and 19. Though Tina said it. She said some prophecies got to come to pass too. Many things are going to happen before we are set back in our rightful places. That's it. That's it. Mama Earth is sick and tired of what's going on in it. There's too much violation of natural law. When natural laws are violated, nature responds. But guess what? Universal law always kicks in. That's why you got to stay righteous and high vibrational. This is why I'm always on this channel talking about staying high vibrational, y'all. You have to stay high vibrational. So that is what is interesting about all of this. Now, you look at last year, 2023 marked May of 2023, which was last year, marked 75 years that since the declaration of the Jewish state in Israel. 75 years. 7 plus 5 is 12. In astrology, that's the end of a cycle. New cycle begins with the 1, 2024. Okay. 2024 is 76 years. 7 plus 6 is 13. All right. 13, it ain't no 13. You go from 12 back to 1 if you're talking about an astrological wheel. The 13th position is the first position if you're talking about an astrological wheel. I think it's about to be a wrap, y'all. But let me. In fact, it's got to be. It's got to be. The scripture said Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles till the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Who's the Gentiles? Who's the original Israelites? This is why I tell y'all, if your pastor is still preaching prosperity here in 2024, go find you another church or get out of it and do your own study. You need to be learning prophecy and identity. Why identity? Why prophecy? Prophecy is telling you what's going to happen. Why identity? Identity tells you which portion of that lot is yours. Which portion of that lot is yours. This is why, and some people get this. The scripture says, I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you, and in you all families of the earth will be blessed. Who's the Messiah talking to in Matthew 5 and 13 when he said, you are the salt of the earth? But if the salt has lost its ability to do what salt does, it is thenceforth good for nothing but to be trodden down, to be cast down and trodden under the foot of men. Who's been getting trodden underneath the foot of the Greco-Romans since 70 AD? Since before that, they were getting trodden down in their own land. And it's been happening. It's been happening. You'll be trodden underfoot of men. Who are the feet doing the trotting? The Greco-Romans. Let me bring up another passage of scripture real quick, and then I'm gonna show this, and we're gonna end this live. I thank y'all for being here tonight. Eyes getting red. Y'all know what time it is with that. Let's see. Recent comments. Maze Trek said Israeli citizens flying out in numbers. Mass exodus soon. I'm telling you, you get it. You get it. This is World War II. World War II. I've said this, y'all. I've said this. And ultimately, I'm gonna show y'all this. This is surely our fathers have inherited lies. This goes back to Theodore Herzl. When all is said and done, Theodore Herzl is gonna be to blame for this. When all said and done. And this is why I tell y'all, man, don't be out here arguing with nobody or mad at somebody who is so-called Jewish or anything like that. You can't blame somebody for how they were raised. The scripture said, surely our fathers have inherited lies, and inheritance is something that's passed down. After about 2 generations, maybe 3. So if the daddy told the original lie to the son, and then the son has a son, that grandson, he might know the lie. But then that great-grandson, by the time you get to the great-grandson and the great-great-grandson, they don't know that what the great-great-grandfather started was a lie. So how you gonna be mad at them? You look ignorant being mad at somebody who don't know. Okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. I told y'all in that 2024 predictions video that I did in December 2023, I said in 2024, moving forward, everything that has been achieved or gotten via lies or ill-gotten means, ill-gotten gains, it's going to be lost and returned to the originator. That's happening. This is the seeds of it happening now. Everything that was gotten via a lie is going to be lost. You got African countries right now arguing with Great Britain to get their artifacts back that were taken from them by generations ago back in the 1800s. These artifacts hold energy. They hold power, y'all. How many of y'all have watched these old shows like Indiana Jones and stuff where people go into these different ancient temples and they're messing with stuff and then things happen? If you ain't the seed of those originators, you ain't supposed to be touching that stuff. If it's sacred, you ain't supposed to be touching that stuff. When you do, you start upsetting some ancient energies. They're like, wait a minute, you disturbing my sleep? Why are you bothering me? Y'all saw what happened in the scripture when Saul was scared. He knew he messed up, and he went to the conjurer and got them to conjure up the spirit of Samuel. Samuel, I need your help. Samuel, like, man, I was resting. Why you bother me? Well, since you bothered me, I need to let you know you're gonna die tomorrow. All right, you done? I'm going back to sleep now. I was in this celestial pool hall about to drop the 8 ball, and you mess with me, man. Now this dude done won the pool game. Don't bother me no more. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Jubilee year 2025. How about that? How about that? Maze Trek said 2024 exposure. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. All right. Where is it? Where is that? Where's that history of? Let me find that. Hang on a sec. All right, let's bring this up. This guy right here, Theodore Herzl, is considered the father of the Zionist movement. Okay, Herzl was born in Pest, Kingdom of Hungary, to a prosperous Neolog Jewish family. Okay, he lived from 18. So he basically died at the age of 44. How about that? That's an interesting number. He died at the age of 44. He was an Austro-Hungarian Jewish journalist, lawyer, writer, playwright, and political activist who was the father of the modern political Zionism. Herzl formed the Zionist organization and promoted Jewish immigration to Palestine in an effort to form a Jewish state. Due to his Zionist work, he is known in Hebrew as Chotza HaMedina, visionary of the state. He is specifically mentioned in the Israeli Declaration of Independence and is officially referred to as the spiritual father of the Jewish state. Spiritual father of the Jewish state. Interesting terminology. Herzl was born in Pest, Kingdom of Hungary, to a prosperous neo-log Jewish family. I read some of this before, y'all, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna skip down. Let me see. Confronted with anti-Semitic events in Vienna, he reached the conclusion that anti-Jewish sentiment would make Jewish assimilation impossible, and that the only solution for Jews was the establishment of a Jewish state. In 1896, Herzl published the pamphlet Der Judenstaat, in which he elaborated his visions of a Jewish homeland. His ideas attracted. So this guy was Austro-Hungarian. In 1897, Herzl convened the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland, and was elected president of the Zionist organization. He began a series of diplomatic initiatives to build support for a Jewish state, appealing unsuccessfully to German Emperor Wilhelm II, Kaiser Wilhelm. How about that? Kaiser, Caesar, all of those are the same. They're the same vibration. We talked about that in another video. At the 6th Zionist Congress in 1903, Herzl presented the Uganda scheme, endorsed by Colonial Secretary Joseph Chamberlain on behalf of the British government. The proposal, which sought to create a temporary refuge for the Jews in British East Africa, following the Kishinev pogrom, was met with strong opposition and ultimately rejected. Herzl died of a heart ailment in 1904 at the age of 44 and was buried in Vienna. Okay. In 1949, his remains were taken to Israel and reinterred on Mount Herzl. So they named a little hill after him or something like that. But basically, it is very interesting to look at that this man was from, I talked about this in another video, but it was very interesting to look at the fact that let me stop sharing for just a moment, that he fathered this movement, and he was Hungarian. And when you look at, now you connect the dots on your own, but when you look at what started World War I, it was the assassination of the Archduke, I believe his name was Ferdinand of Hungary. So there's that Hungarian connection. Now, that was the spark that started World War I. But what do we know happened as a result of World War I? You had I think they were called the Axis powers or maybe Axis was in, I forgot what they were originally called. Maybe Axis was, let me see, World War I. Was it Axis powers? I think it was still called Axis. Let's see. Central powers. They were known as Central powers. Okay. It was the Allies versus Central powers, I think. Let me look. Axis. Yeah, the Axis powers. They were called the Axis powers in World War II. But basically, the Ottoman Turks were part of the opposing force that opposed the Allies. We know that the Ottoman Turks controlled the Levant from the fall of the Eastern Roman Empire, which was originally called Constantinople, and the Byzantine Empire fell in 14 something, and that final Roman emperor, they were kicked out, and an Ottoman Sultan, I believe his name was Sultan Mehmed, they took over. They renamed it from Constantinople to Istanbul. The rest of his history, that's modern day Turkey. But the Ottoman Turks controlled the Levant. Okay, they controlled the Levant, and they controlled it from around the 1500s up until the World War I. When in the aftermath of World War I, the Ottoman Turks lost control of that, and the British seized it, and they had an agreement called the Balfour Treaty, which set aside that land, that newly reconquered land. If you understand the Roman connection, that reconquered land was set aside for the formation of a Jewish state. All right. Now, we know that did not happen. It was forced to happen by World War II. Let me say that. It was forced to happen by World War II. Why? Because of the mass destruction in Europe. So, listen, I know a lot of people going to say I get that. I get the AH connection. I don't want to deal with that because that triggers algorithms and stuff like that. But the point I'm making is, if after the war's over, you got no home to go to, then you got to have a home to go to. So it's almost like World War II, in its aftermath, it forced the realization of the Balfour Declaration. And that's how that started. But that land has not been at rest since the Ottoman Turks fell. It has not been at rest. Now, we read the prophecy in the book of Jeremiah. It's supposed to be at rest when that when the original inhabitants, when the seed of Jacob returns to it, it's supposed to be at rest. So why is it not at rest? This stuff is there, y'all. It's there. So, why was it important to create? You know, I mean, we see the narrative about the anti-Semitism, but what also is significant about the late 1800s, the aftermath of the Civil War, prior to the 1900s, if you will. Y'all can go look this stuff up, okay? When you look at some of those quote unquote slave ship charters, you saw things like Igbo and Hebrew, X number of Hebrew or Igbo slaves, which was another way of saying Hebrew. Now, we know that Christopher Columbus had a Negro speaking Hebrew on his maiden voyage to serve as a translator. Why you need a Hebrew speaking Negro to serve as a translator if you're just going to go look for some spices in India? They knew where they were going, y'all. They knew where they were going. They knew who was going to be over here when they got here. Okay, so with the Emancipation Proclamation, is it conceivable that perhaps these people who knew their roots would look to quote unquote return home, which we knew that wasn't going to happen. It couldn't have happened even at that time because of some divine providence. Prophecies have got to play out. If you're supposed to be in bondage in a land that's not your own for a certain amount of time, then you ain't gonna get to go back. But what if it's like, okay, this land ain't necessarily occupied? Remember, there was an edict. Y'all go read the 83rd chapter of, let me bring it up. I get tired of bringing so much stuff up sometimes, to be honest, y'all. But I'm gonna bring this up one more time, and then we're gonna end this live. Yeah. This stuff is right. It's in Scripture, y'all. This stuff is in Scripture. You got to know what you're reading. But when you got prosperity gospel preaching pastors, you and the stuff's in there for you to know who you are, then my people gonna continue to be destroyed for lack of knowledge. And when somebody comes along, they probably gonna reject that knowledge. Let's read this, y'all. And then I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. '83rd Psalm, a psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult or loud noise, and they that hate you, O God, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? Probably Judah. What did he say? He said the scepter would not depart from Judah, neither a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh comes. What is a scepter? A scepter is an instrument that signifies rulership. So remember, if you want a kingdom to fall, you got to take out the royal. You got to take out the royals. So who are the hidden ones? Most likely Judah. Okay, let's keep going. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. Okay, and then the rest of that tells you, verses 5 through 8 tells you who had a hand in it, and y'all can break that down and see who it was. Okay, y'all can go break that down. Y'all can deduce that and figure out who those different nations are today. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that, but so could one conceive that in order to make sure to continue this policy of making sure that the originals don't return to that land for a reason that I think has to deal with energy? I covered that in an earlier live that I did last year. Y'all go look for that. It said why the Middle East has been the most fought over territory since the beginning of time. There's something about that land, and I think that something in that land matches, some energetically speaking, matches something that's in the DNA of the originals from that land, such that when they're on it, they're damn near indomitable. The only way to defeat them is to get them to engage in things that are in violation of natural law. When you violate natural law, the Most High, he got no respect to persons. You got to get off that land. The land gonna tell on you. When you're violating nature, nature gonna tell on you. It don't take a genius to look in Scripture and see what these ancient Israelites did time and time again. That caused the land to say, you're making me sick. I got to get you off of here. I got to get you off of here till you heal. When you heal, then come back. But I got to get you off of here because your energy is wrong now. You're not matching the vibration of this land. Everything's about energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is about energy, frequency, and vibration. Y'all are not matching the vibrational frequency of me. I got to get you off of here because you're making me sick. Okay. So what if Herschel said, you know what, man? Oh, snap, this royal house of Judah, they done got freed. Man, they done messed around and got freed by the United States. We're supposed to keep them in bondage. Damn it. Well, let's hurry up and put some people on that soil so they can't go back there. Is that not what the Romans did after they drove the original Yahudim off? Is that not what they did? Is that not what they did? Watch this. Watch this. I said I wasn't going to bring up another scripture. I'm going to bring up one more. Watch this. Y'all have heard me read this one before too. If your left hook or your best punch, why stop throwing it? Here we go. Let's read the highlighted portions. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. And I told y'all, I broke down the etymology, the early etymology of the word plead. It ain't, can I please? No. Plead meant contend with. The early etymology meant to deal with. So when he says here, I will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, meaning he going to deal with these nations, all right? Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. That's why you got a Jordan and a Syria and a Lebanon and a little strip of Israel over there. That original land that Jordan Jordan don't exist in the Bible. I told y'all Jordan and Judean carry the same vibration. It carries the same vibration. All right. So anyway, let me keep going. I ain't gonna say that. I thought of something. I ain't gonna say it. Maybe for another video. I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people. Hey man, let me get these right here. You take these right here. I'm gonna take these right here to my country. And have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. And y'all wonder why people be messing with kids and stuff? It's right here. It's right there. Okay. Skip down to verse 6. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold into the Grecians, the Greco-Romans, that you might remove them far from their border. Verse 7 says, behold, I will raise them up. I'll raise them out of the place where you have sold them and will return your repayment upon your own head. Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. This is what's coming. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. This is what's happening, y'all. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. My children have you sold, the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold into the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. You know what, man? They just got freed. What if they try to find a way to get their way back over here? We know what happens when a righteous Israelite is on this land. They don't take a whole bunch of them to beat somebody in combat. We've seen 3,000 of them defeat, 300 of them defeat how many thousand Midianites? When they're on this land, they're activated. Something in their DNA wakes up some inner power. They're the descendants of a God in flesh form. Who? Jacob. You can't wrestle an angel, a son of God, unless you got the same DNA in you. Man, whatever the hell y'all do, don't let them back on this land. What if that was the whole purpose? Psalms 83. This is who you guys are. This is your land. You have a right to exist here. Okay, if you do, well, the scripture said when you return, that land was going to be at peace. And yet that land ain't been at peace for going on 76 years you've been there. I'm just reading scripture, y'all. Don't be mad at me. I didn't write it, but I could have. If we all reincarnate, who knows? I am a writer. Anyway, let me stop tripping with y'all. Look, y'all, man, I'm getting ready to wrap this video up. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I shouldn't be eating this late, man, but I'm gonna make myself stay. My sleep schedule's been off anyway for the last since that eclipse. And a bunch of y'all have said that too. People been hitting me up, man. Matt, my sleep has been off since that eclipse. Just roll through it. You're gonna get through it, okay? Sounds like the movie 300 talking about us. Yeah. That I know that was referencing the Battle of Thermopylae, but you hear that number 300 a lot. Just because of Satan, Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9 as well there, just because. Let's see, one more thing to note, bro. Monk mode is that all of Noah's seed is melanated, including Shem. Yo, listen, Tina, thank you for saying that. I don't know where this narrative came from that Japheth was not melanated. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Okay. And in my live last week, I told everybody watching why you need to own a copy of Antiquities of the Jews by Flavius Josephus. If y'all have not seen that, go back and watch it. I'll tell you who Josephus was. He ain't who they trying to purport him to be. The Renaissance changed the look and feel. Okay. Josephus was a brother too. I don't care who mad. Y'all go watch my video last week where I was talking about the battle of the hot grease. Who throw hot grease on somebody in a fight? I'm just saying. Okay. Yeah. So there's no way Japheth. Read that Antiquities of the Jews, and you're gonna understand why it never made sense to me that only a man and his 3 sons and their wives survived the entire decimation of the earth, and just them 3 pairs repopulated the whole earth. Antiquities of the Jews gonna go into a little bit more detail and explain how that was not accurate. Noah told his sons to go find other people that survived it and repopulate the earth. So that y'all go read that, man. Y'all go read that. There's a reason why the seed of the Nephilim survived the flood. Okay, there's a reason why. That might also be why he said no more water but fire next time. Okay, okay. So y'all figure this out. Y'all figure this was coming with water too. Y'all built a boat too. All right, I'm gonna see if you can escape this fire. If I put fire on you, I know I got you. That's the Most High, the rainbow sign. Okay, let me keep going. Maybe drink something filling, but not heavy on your stomach. Sleep better. Yeah, I hear you. But man, just because I cooked that beautiful salmon fillet. But you're right. You know what? Maybe I'll just throw it in the fridge and eat a salmon salad for lunch tomorrow. That's good advice. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna give me another cup of sleepy time tea or something like that. That is great advice. I'm gonna take that. When I see good advice, I take it. That's a great advice. Let's see. Tina said, I like that you brought that up, bro, Matt. That's why people got to naturalize the L's and the B's aren't governing. They don't even know. I ain't gonna get into it, but I hear you. They also call themselves Ashkenaz, and Ashkenaz not from Shem. Facts. Okay. Rev 2 and 9, Rev 3 and 8. Facts. Check out the Learned Elders of Zion. Yeah, Tony, do you know that they're calling that book folklore now and saying that it doesn't exist? I listened to the audio book on a drive to Virginia. I drove a 4.5 hours. It was actually about 9 hours round trip about 3-4 summers ago. And I listened to that audio book. And the funny thing is, everything that was in that audio book is in effect in the world. So how is that folklore? That's a great point that you brought up there, Tony. Hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate that, Monk Mode. On usual point, thank you. I appreciate that. All of these artifacts are set for demarcation lines to territories of the original inhabitants. The pale skin's been conjuring up insurmountable karma, moving them about. I'm telling you, man, y'all can't listen. People think this stuff is juju or something. There is real energy to this stuff, man. You cannot mess with artifacts that don't know you, that you don't match. Y'all, we're gonna learn one day, man. We have allowed the Abrahamic religions to remove us so far from the knowledge that we once possessed that we just walking around in this weakened state. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And it says, because you have rejected knowledge, I will reject you and you'll be no priest to me. What kind of priest? A priest of the order of Melchizedek. Y'all know how powerful that priestly juice is? That I told y'all in that video, I did a video breaking that down. Those priests and priestesses, because we're not over that time of inequality between men and women is done. There's roles, okay? A point guard can't do what a center does. A center can't do what a point guard does, all right? But they both play for the same team, and they function together to get the W, okay? That point guard ain't going down there grabbing no rebounds, unless he Magic Johnson back with the Lakers. But even then, he couldn't do what Kareem did, okay? Kareem ain't bringing that ball down the court, setting the offense up. We got to get away from that. So these priests and priestesses had the power to manipulate the elements. They were connected to the forces of nature. But he said, if you rejected knowledge, you can't be a priest to me. I'm not going to redo that one. Y'all go check that out. I don't even know where it is. Y'all go look through the timeline. It's getting late, okay? Anya said, I'm definitely going to check out the replay. So much knowledge. Appreciate you, Anya. Oscar says, getting crazy, brother. Yeah. Yo, so I'm all caught up on the comments. Listen, man, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here tonight. I know I've been off. Look, it's only been a week, but it feels like it's been longer for some reason. And that's how quickly time is flying. So if y'all can't understand that the Most High is collapsing time and we're moving into a period of time where time does not exist anymore, you got to understand what comes with that. If you're moving into a period of time where there is no more time, that means you're getting an eternal body. Y'all know one of the prophecies is death was going to be removed from the land. Okay? Time is collapsing. The Most High speeding it up. He said, unless those days be shortened, no flesh would be saved. Okay? Not saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, by fire baptized, church stuff we talking about. Salvation in the terms of being preserved. No flesh would be preserved. Okay? So time is the Most High, the Most High is collapsing time, y'all. And this is why there's going to be a quote unquote final judgment until the next time, because we're all eternal beings. Okay. Until the next time that's far off, we're entering a new cosmic cycle, a new age. So there's going to be a final judgment. And based on how that judgment plays out, you're going to get a brand new body that does not fail, or you're going to be stuck in a failing body and not be able to die. That's one interpretation of that prophecy. And I'll probably talk about that in another video. My eyes getting red. I'm getting sleepy. So I'm about to get out of here, y'all. I love y'all so much. If you have not done so already, please smash that like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel and you like being entertained, educated, uplifted, inspired, y'all hit that subscribe button for me. And make sure you turn the notification bell on to all so that you'll be notified when I upload new content. Yo, I want to send a special shout out to those of you that have been purchasing my books. I love y'all so much, man. Thank y'all. I'm enjoying autographing these books for you guys and sending them out to you. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying my work as a writer. It's a passion. It's been a passion of mine. Writing and storytelling has been a passion of mine since I was a child. And so y'all warm my heart when you purchase these books. So shout out to those of you who have been purchasing books. Shout out to those of you who have been buying me cups of coffee. I probably need one right now, to be honest. But thank y'all. Listen, I did not want this live to end without acknowledging y'all, man. Y'all are special to me. Thank you so much. It is difficult when you're an independent artist, and when anybody reads, or when anybody consumes your work that you have put out there as an independent artist, it is a jolt of energy, high vibrational energy. It just feels good. It feels good. So thank y'all. So I'm getting ready to wrap this live up, man. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I hope y'all learned something. Go back and watch the replay if you jumped in the middle. Leave a comment under the video and share the video if it means something to you and you think somebody else might benefit from it. And last but not least, y'all, well, not last but not least, right before last but not least, I know I have not put out any on-demand content in a while, and a lot of y'all like my on-demand content because I get to put the little title screens in there, drop some music in the background, put charts and stuff up on the screen. I'm going to get back to that, y'all. I've just been so busy, and time has been flying by so fast. And it's just like, with these sleep cycles being off and these energetic upgrades that came from the lunar eclipse, followed by the lunar eclipse at the end of March, and then the solar eclipse last week, y'all, the DNA is being upgraded. If you don't know that, just go look at nature and watch how quickly a lot of these plants and trees are growing, sprouts, and how rapidly this stuff is growing and how big this stuff is growing. I'm seeing some natural activity that I've not seen in ever. I'm seeing trees and plants and stuff respond to these energies that are being downloaded from the sun. If they're getting upgraded, you're getting upgraded too. Okay, so just work through it, family. And don't let nobody stress you out. Stay high vibrational, man. Spread love where you can. And if you can't spread love, man, don't spread no hate. Don't spread no low vibrational vibes. Just go to yourself until you figure it out. All right. So that's it, man. I got y'all. Listen, tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. Okay. It is a noun as well. But Allie, thank you so much. Thank you for joining, Allie. Thank you for being here. Maze Tracks, appreciate you. Tony, appreciate you, man. The Order of Melchizedek is getting ready to release the old books. Yep. And guess what? There's new books published too. I keep saying that. Some of these characters in this current stage play ain't gonna be in the next stage play. That's just how these things work. That's how they work. Okay. Some of y'all A-list actors, some of y'all extras. Just is what it is. Okay. And I don't say that to be pompous. I'm as above, so below. We see this stuff in theater and in Hollywood and all this other stuff. And anyway, let me get out of here because I'm running on. But thank you, sis. She said she enjoyed it. Thank you. And just because, appreciate you. I'm out of here, y'all. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. It is a noun as well. But when you focus on the verb, the noun always takes care of itself. Peace, family. Y'all have a great night.